world and humanity. Universitas 11 Maret, established on March 11, 1976, is one of the leading universities in Indonesia. Its noble goal is to contribute to the development of the nation through education, research, and innovation that benefits society. Universitas 11 Maret has built its vision and strategic plan on becoming an internationally excellent center of development of science, technology, and arts based on the noble values of national culture, focusing on enhancing its specialized subject areas and on developing its capacity to meet world-class standards. Universitas 11 Maret has established 3 centers of excellence in science and technology. The 3 centers are Center of Excellence in Lithium-Ion Battery Technology, Center of Excellence in Fintech, Financial Technology, and Center of Excellence in Javanology that focuses on the study, development, and preservation of Javanese culture. Universitas 11 Maret is located in the city of Surakarta, also known as Solo. Solo is a very comfortable city to live in, where Javanese culture and modern life combine. The life in Solo, which upholds the value of harmony, has prepared Universitas 11 Maret graduates to be future leaders who are tough, creative, friendly, generous, calm, and adaptive. To achieve the vision of Indonesian higher education, freedom to learn, independent campus, Universitas 11 Maret offers a variety of courses on a wide range of subjects conducted by 11 faculties, a vocational school, and a graduate school. Various library services, such as thousands of print books and ebooks, access to various international journals, and academic librarian assistants are available to support the teaching and learning process and promote the academic achievement of all students, lecturers, and researchers. With a comfortable learning environment, a green campus, and supported by an integrated information system, Universitas 11 Maret has an academic culture that fosters a global perspective and is prepared for Education 4.0. Active and strong international partnerships and collaborations have become an integral part of the university. International partnerships provide opportunities for student and staff mobility, as well as collaborative research and community service projects. In addition to being a center of excellence, Universitas 11 Maret is home to students from all 34 provinces in Indonesia and 33 countries in the world. This creates a multicultural environment that promotes mutual understanding. Embracing diversity and respecting all cultures makes every student feel recognized and valued.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Suwarna Lavaratina Iren Narson. I come from Madagascar and I study Design Communication Visual. So far, my experiences have been very colorful. On my first semester, I have been through a lot of difficulties, especially with bahasa issue, but luckily, I had the best and understanding lectures ever. They definitely accompany me step by step, so I could be in the same level as my classmates. It's been 5 years that I came and back from this campus, but I've never got tired of it. I've been visiting a lot of big cities in Indonesia, but so far Solo is my favorite one. This city just amazed me by the way it looks, by its people, and especially by the sympathy and friendly way that Solonese people welcome me everywhere I go. I would say that I love living in Solo because I love eating, and food is just everywhere with affordable price, and I would definitely recommend Solo for anyone who wanna come to visit Indonesia. I'm very happy to be a part of this beautiful campus, and I also feel lucky because I could make my studies here, and especially I could meet new people from all around the world. Merci beaucoup, UNS.
My name is Walid Sulaiman Karbous. I'm from Sudan. I feel comfortable during my study in UNS because what I found from the international office, from my classmates, from my lecturer, the environment study, the facilities in campus, everything make me happy and creative during my study in UNS. I'm enjoying my life in Solo. Actually, everything in Solo make you feel comfortable. The people are very kind. The food is delicious. The prices are cheap. The tourist area around the city, everything make you feel comfortable in Solo.
My name is Yuzuna Mao. I'm from Myanmar. I'm studying Master Program of Public Health in Universitas 11 Maret, Indonesia. Studying in Universitas 11 Maret is enjoyable, and it is a good atmosphere to study. I got so many chances to contribute in non-academic activities also, so it improved my knowledge about the social and culture of Indonesia. Of course, I have some difficulties during my study, but there are always some helping hands for me. Here I got experiences I think which I could adopt in my country when I came back. Solo is like my second hometown. People in Solo is friendly, polite, and helpful. I feel safe when I live in Solo.
The complexity of the modern world is continuously increasing. We live in an uncertain world where change is rapid and unpredictable. Universities have a pivotal role to play in preparing graduates for jobs that don't exist yet, for technologies that haven't been invented, and for problems that need innovative solutions.
Universitas 11 Maret has three main agendas toward a world-class university. Acceleration in various fields of development is needed by embracing the foundation of UNS, Benteng Pancasila. Therefore, 5 strategic policy pillars were decided.
It is important to understand that flexibility and adaptability are the keys to growth in the rapidly changing 21st century. This is what encouraged Universitas 11 Maret to shift its governance and management to an autonomous public university. With this change, Universitas 11 Maret will have the autonomy and independence to improve the quality of teaching, learning, and research in implementing the 5 development pillars of Universitas 11 Maret to accelerate its transformation process towards becoming a world-class university. Universitas 11 Maret.
Program Doktor Ilmu Lingkungan Sekolah Pasca Sarjana UNS berdiri sejak tahun 2008 dan merupakan program multidisiplin sehingga menerima calon mahasiswa dari berbagai keilmuan. Terdapat 3 minat yang ditawarkan kepada mahasiswa, yaitu ekosistem perairan tawar, kesehatan lingkungan, dan manajemen sumber daya. Nilai keunggulan program Doktor Ilmu Lingkungan Pasca Sarjana UNS terletak pada optimalisasi sumber daya yang ada secara sistemik, mencakup komprehensivitas abiotik, biotik, dan culture, dan struktur berkelanjutan dari program studi S1, S2, dan program Doktor Ilmu Lingkungan. Program Doktor Ilmu Lingkungan UNS melakukan program kerjasama dengan RUDN University Rusia, Taiwan Alumni atau ICDF Indonesia, University Putra Malaysia, University Malaysia Sarawak. Program Doktor Ilmu Lingkungan hadir sebagai respon terhadap tuntutan zaman yang menghadapi era revolusi industri 4.0 dan University 5.0. Pembangunan global dan nasional saat ini berfokus pada pembangunan berkelanjutan yang diwujudkan melalui pencapaian Sustainable Development Goals SDGs dengan 3 pilar utama, yaitu sosial, ekonomi, lingkungan, dan tata kelola penyelenggaraan pembangunan. Dalam konteks ini, program studi Doktor Ilmu Lingkungan dituntut untuk selalu mengikuti perkembangan lingkungan baik secara lokal, regional, nasional, maupun internasional. Oleh karena itu, evaluasi diri menjadi salah satu bentuk adaptasi program studi Doktor Ilmu Lingkungan terhadap perubahan lingkungan dan tuntutan zaman dalam mencapai visi dan misinya yang selaras dengan tuntutan zaman.
Science without nobility is blind. The core of Universitas 11 Maret logo, which is a head-like shape with a flame in its center, is described as wiku. The term wiku is Old Javanese, borrowed from Pali, meaning an educated noble disciple. The flame, or prabha, in the center of Wiku's head represents the brilliance, wisdom, and nobility of the human mind. The flame also symbolizes the light of knowledge that shines and makes a positive and eternal impact on the world and humanity. Universitas 11 Maret, established on March 11, 1976, is one of the leading universities in Indonesia. Its noble goal is to contribute to the development of the nation through education, research, and innovation that benefits society. Universitas 11 Maret has built its vision and strategic plan on becoming an internationally excellent center of development of science, technology, and arts based on the noble values of national culture, focusing on enhancing its specialized subject areas and on developing its capacity to meet world-class standards. Universitas 11 Maret has established 3 centers of excellence in science and technology. The 3 centers are Center of Excellence in Lithium-Ion Battery Technology, Center of Excellence in Fintech, Financial Technology, and Center of Excellence in Javanology that focuses on the study, development, and preservation of Javanese culture. Universitas 11 Maret is located in the city of Surakarta, also known as Solo. Solo is a very comfortable city to live in, where Javanese culture and modern life combine. The life in Solo, which upholds the value of harmony, has prepared Universitas 11 Maret graduates to be future leaders who are tough, creative, friendly, generous, calm, and adaptive. To achieve the vision of Indonesian higher education, freedom to learn, independent campus, Universitas 11 Maret offers a variety of courses on a wide range of subjects conducted by 11 faculties, a vocational school, and a graduate school. various library services, such as thousands of print books and ebooks, access to various international journals, and academic librarian assistants are available to support the teaching and learning process and promote the academic achievement of all students, lecturers, and researchers. With a comfortable learning environment, a green campus, and supported by an integrated information system, Universitas 11 Maret has an academic culture that fosters a global perspective and is prepared for Education 4.0. Active and strong international partnerships and collaborations have become an integral part of the university. International partnerships provide opportunities for student and staff mobility, as well as collaborative research and community service projects. In addition to being a center of excellence, Universitas 11 Maret is home to students from all 34 provinces in Indonesia and 33 countries in the world. This creates a multicultural environment that promotes mutual understanding. Embracing diversity and respecting all cultures makes every student feel recognized and valued.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Suwarna Lafaratina Narson. I come from Madagascar and I study Design Communication Visual. So far, my experiences have been very colorful. On my first semester, I have been through a lot of difficulties, especially with bahasa issue, but luckily, I had the best and understanding lectures ever. They definitely accompany me step by step, so I could be in the same level as my classmates. It's been 5 years that I came and back from this campus, but I've never got tired of it. I've been visiting a lot of big cities in Indonesia, but so far Solo is my favorite one. This city just amazed me by the way it looks, by its people, and especially by the sympathy and friendly way that Solonese people welcome me everywhere I go. I would say that I love living in Solo because I love eating, and food is just everywhere with affordable price. And I would definitely recommend Solo for anyone who wanna come to visit Indonesia. I'm very happy to be a part of this beautiful campus, and I also feel lucky because I could make my studies here, and especially I could meet new people from all around the world. Merci beaucoup, UNS.
My name is Walid Sulaiman Karbous. I'm from Sudan. I feel comfortable during my study in ONS because what I found from the international office, from my classmates, from my lecturer, the environment study, the facilities in campus, everything make me happy and creative during my study in ONS. I'm enjoying my life in Solo. Actually, everything in Solo makes you feel comfortable. The people are very kind. The food is delicious. The prices are cheap. The tourist area around the city, everything makes you feel comfortable in Solo.
My name is Yuzuna Mao. I'm from Myanmar. I'm studying Master Program of Public Health in Universitas 11 Maret, Indonesia. Studying in Universitas 11 Maret is enjoyable and it is a good atmosphere to study. I got so many chances to contribute in non-academic activities also, so it improved my knowledge about the social and culture of Indonesia. Of course, I have some difficulties during my study, but there are always some helping hands for me. Here I got experiences I think which I could adopt in my country when I came back. Solo is like my second hometown. People in Solo is friendly, polite, and helpful. I feel safe when I live in Solo.
The complexity of the modern world is continuously increasing. We live in an uncertain world where change is rapid and unpredictable. Universities have a pivotal role to play in preparing graduates for jobs that don't exist yet, for technologies that haven't been invented, and for problems that need innovative solutions.
Universitas 11 Maret has three main agendas toward a world-class university. Acceleration in various fields of development is needed by embracing the foundation of UNS, Benteng Pancasila. Therefore, 5 strategic policy pillars were decided.
It is important to understand that flexibility and adaptability are the keys to growth in the rapidly changing 21st century. This is what encouraged Universitas 11 Maret to shift its governance and management to an autonomous public university. With this change, Universitas 11 Maret will have the autonomy and independence to improve the quality of teaching, learning, and research in implementing the 5 development pillars of Universitas 11 Maret to accelerate its transformation process towards becoming a world-class university. Universitas 11 Maret.
Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi, salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan. Welcome to Universitas 11 Maret and the 5th International Conference on Environmental and Sustainable Development. Firstly, allow me to introduce myself. I am Jessica Fiona Setiawan, who will be the Master of Ceremony for today's event. Now, before we start, I would like to give a small announcement for all participants who are online to follow all the rules that have been prepared for the plenary session, and also please, for all participants, do not click on the annotate button because it is reserved only for the plenary speakers. Now, before we begin, please join us to listen to the national anthem of Indonesia, Indonesia Raya.
Indonesia, kebangsaan
Now, allow me to continue, and we will continue to represent the entire organizing committee to welcome you to the 5th ICESD 2024 with the theme of Building Resilient Futures, Advancing Ecological Sustainability and Conservation. This event is proudly hosted by the Doctoral Program of Environmental Science Department at the Graduate School, Universitas 11 Maret. We hope that this international conference will be able to provide an international forum to accommodate all scholars, practitioners, policymakers, and stakeholders to converge on a common goal, such as to advance knowledge, also taking action in ecological sustainability and conservation. Now, first of all, we would like to welcome and say hello to the Honorable Professor Irwan Trinugroho as the Vice Rector of Universitas 11 Maret for Planning, Cooperation, Internationalization, and Information. Professor Sutarno as the Dean of Graduate School, Professor Pranoto as the Conference Chairman and also the Head of the Doctoral Program of Environmental Science Department, and also to the honorable invited speakers for the plenary session. Mr. Parulian Silayan, PhD from the University of Wollongong, Australia, Associate Professor Dr. Muhammad Heri Ibrahim from the University Pendidikan Sultan Idris, Malaysia, Professor Ari Natalia Probandari from Universitas 11 Maret, Indonesia, Professor Dr. Johannes Purwanto from the Research Center for Ecology and Ethnobiology at the National Research and Innovation Agency, and also Professor Chung Hung Lee from the National Donghua University in Taiwan. And last but not least, we would also like to welcome all of our distinguished guests and participants. Now, to begin, I would like to invite the conference chairman to give a welcoming speech. Professor Pranoto, the time and place is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. To our distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome. Very good morning to one and all present here, and thank you for joining us for the 5th International Conference of Environmental and Sustainable Development. The Honorable Vice Rector for Areas of Planning, Cooperation, Internationalization, and Information, Universitas 11 Maret, Prof. Irwan Trinugroho, the Honorable Dean of the Graduate School, Prof. Sutarno, the Excellency Invite Speaker, Associate Prof. Muhammad Heri Ibrahim, University Pendidikan Sultan Idris, Malaysia, Prof. Ari Natalia Probandari, Universitas 11 Maret, Indonesia, Prof. Chong Hun Lee, National Donghua University, Taiwan, Prof. Purwanto, Research Center for Ecology and Ethnobiology, National Research and Innovation Agency, BRIN, Indonesia, Parulian Silayan, PhD, University Wollongong, Australia. It's my pleasure to walk you through the conference and introduce you to the speaker and delegate that have come from all over the country today to share their knowledge and exchange our human resources horizon. Before we start the conference, I would like to express my gratitude to all who silently contribute to this event in order to make it a success. This wouldn't have been possible without the support of each and everyone present here. Today, conference has about 200 participants participating from various various fields, making this conference a truly international conference in spirit. Thank you to all the committee, especially the graduate school, Universitas Sebelas Maret. Thank you and enjoy the 5th International Conference on Environmental and Sustainable Development. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you so much, Professor Pranoto, for giving us such a warm welcome. And thank you for all the efforts that you've put to make sure that this event runs smoothly. Now, we're back again, and let us welcome the Dean of Graduate School, Universitas Sebelas Maret, to address a welcoming speech. Professor Sutarno, the time and place is yours.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Excellencies, distinguished guests, honorable participants, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, selamat pagi. First and foremost, let's thank God Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala for His blessing and mercies so that we are all able to join this 5th International Seminar, International Conference on Environment and Sustainable Development, 5th ICESD, in such a good health condition. Secondly, on behalf of the Graduate School of Sebelas Maret University, I would like to welcome and I would also like to send my warmest regard to honorable invited speakers, as well as to all attendants of this international conference, participants of this international seminar conference. Welcome to Solo City, although only via a Zoom meeting, and welcome to Graduate School of Sebelas Maret University. I'm also happy to congratulate the 5th ICESD team for their working hard preparing this international seminar. Ladies and gentlemen, environmental challenges are in front of us and need a collective effort from all parts of society, including we are in university as well as for business. Sustainability is no longer an option. It is a requirement for every organization to develop and execute a sustainability strategies. A holistic and integrated approach that drives value and sustain our ecological process is needed that meets the needs of today as well as those of tomorrow. One of the environment factors that extremely important for sustaining our lives is biodiversity. Unfortunately, the biodiversity that support in fulfilling our daily needs was at risk conditions due to global climate change taking place globally. Ladies and gentlemen, biodiversity plays an important role in maintaining ecosystem productivity, stability, sustainability, and other ecosystem services that are essential for human well-being. Terrestrial and marine ecosystem plays an important role in regulating climate. They absorb man-made carbon emission and thus helping to protect human beings from climate change. Many studies indicated that climate change is able to decrease genetic diversity of populations due to directional selection and rapid migration, which could in turn affect ecosystem functioning and resilience, as well as in population by modifying the web of interaction at the community level. The implication of climate change for genetic and species diversity have potentially strong implications for ecosystem services, especially in decreasing fitness lead to this species extinction. Loss of diversity, loss of biodiversity has become a serious issue in many places around the world. Many factors such as habitat loss, degradation, air and water pollution, overexploitation, and unsustainable use of natural resources and invasive species have contributed to the loss of biodiversity. Nature conservation and restoration is possibly becoming major and cost-efficient effort of our fight against climate change. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope the fifth ICESD will provide new findings, new insight related to how to minimize the impact of climate change on many aspects of life, how to understand the climate change impact from the environmental perspective, as well as on sustainability. In relation with sustainability, it is important for us to think about our future generation, that they are also should be able to enjoy a good quality of their environment supported by good resources. Ladies and gentlemen, I acknowledge all the invited speakers, the steering and organizing committees, and also to all the participants of fifth ICESD. Finally, I hope you enjoy this conference, and I also hope that this conference will be benefit to all of us. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you so much, Professor Sutarna, for such a thoughtful and meaningful opening speech. And I would like to continue for setting the positive tone for today's agenda. And we will now please welcome Professor Irwan Trinugroho, the Vice Rector of Universitas 11 Maret, to deliver a welcoming speech and to officially open the 5th ICESD 2024. Professor Irwan, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Honorable all invited speaker, the Dean of Graduate School of UNS, the Chairman of the Doctoral Program in Environmental Science, the Committee on the Conference, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera bagi kita semua, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan, and very good morning. So on behalf of the university, it is a great pleasure to welcome you to the 5th International Conference on Environmental and Sustainable Development, with particular topics on building resilient futures, advancing ecological sustainability and conservation. So we are indeed pleased that a number of speakers as well as a scholar participate in this particular event. So ladies and gentlemen, so first of all, we thank the doctoral program in environmental science, the Graduate School of Universitas 11 Maret, for organizing this conference. As we know, the goal of a doctoral program is to train students at the advanced level, especially in their specific field, with high-level research. Therefore, doctoral students should disseminate their research finding in scientific forum and publish research paper in reputable journals. Publishing papers in academic journal could also be considered as the extent to which the doctoral research is appreciated by the scientific community in their respective fields. And I would also like to thank the presenter as well as non-presenter participant for your participation in this conference. And my gratitude also goes to all invited speakers who will specifically discuss about the recent development in environmental and sustainable development. We will listen to them, especially with respect to the particular issues bringing in this conference. So this international conference is also in line with the vision and mission of the university. So UNS is committed to accelerate our reputation and contribution both to the academic and to the society as a whole, not only in the national level but also in the regional and environmental, international environmental. As we are fully aware that in today's globalist world, contribution of university should be promoted to a wider spectrum. So in concluding, I wish you a very fruitful discussion and hope that you find your participation in this event worthwhile. So by saying Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, so the 5th International Conference on Environmental and Sustainable Development is officially open. So thank you so much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you so much, Professor Irwan, for such an official opening. And now we are going to start the event. And before we continue, we would like to take a photo session together. So, dear all participants and also invited guest speakers, I would like to ask to open your cameras and also pose and take a picture. The technical team will help us for the photo session. Okay, thank you very much. And now, as we continue to the next agenda, it is finally the time for the main event to begin. I would like to welcome Mrs. Haryani Saptaningtyas, PhD, as the moderator for the first plenary session. Mrs. Haryani Saptaningtyas, the time and place is yours. Welcome, Mrs. Haryani.
Okay, good morning. Thank you so much, Jessica.
Okay, now the time and place is yours. We can start the plenary session as you wish.
Okay, thank you. Then I will lead the first session with the invited speakers. Before I started, I would like to welcoming our dear participants and also invited speakers. On the first session, we already have 3 invited speakers from 3 different countries. The first speaker are Parulian Silain, PhD, and then the second speaker is Professor Dr. Ari Natalia Probandari from 11 Maret University, Indonesia, and then the third speaker is Associate Professor Dr. Muhammad Hairi Ibrahim from University Pendidikan Sultan Idris, Malaysia. Okay, we are going to start with the third International Conference on Environmental and Sustainable Development, and for this event, we going to discuss about the strategic response to escalating environmental crises that threaten ecological and human system worldwide. Before we are going to start with the first session, I would like to read the short CV from each invited speaker. Okay, first of all, I would like to check that Mr. Parulian Silains is already on screen. Mr. Parulian Silains, PhD, is a Management Accountant Professional, CMA. Good morning, Prof.
Good morning.
Yes, thank you to join with us today. Yeah. Okay, I would like to read the short your CV. You are Parulian is a management accountant professional and also financial control specialist, lecturer, and also practitioner with extensive practical experiences in management control system, performance audits, and management accounting. In addition, Mr. Parulian is also a certified management accountant, CMA, and certified corporate social responsibility specialist. He joined UOW in 2002 and coordinated various subjects, including 5 undergraduate subjects, 4 postgraduate subjects, and he also supervised PhD and master research students. He is also practical experiences with the private and public sector in Indonesia. Let's go into the study background of Parulian Silain. Yes, thank you. Mr. Parulian is get his degree on University Indonesia and his Master of Commerce honoris causa, as well as his PhD from Wollongong University. His research interest is in management accounting, management control system, and performance audit. He's really a trainer in several tracking asset and recovery, and also part of forensic accounting and fraud investigation. I think you already have a long CV and very expertise in accounting. That's why I would like to thanks to the committee who already invite you. I hope with your expertise you can give us more detail on the involvement of accounting in environmental crisis. Okay, the next invited speaker is Professor Dr. Ari Natali Probandari. He is a professor of public health, Faculty of Medicine, University 11 Maret, Indonesia, the member of Board of Trustee, University 11 Maret, and the chair of Academic Senate. She has research projects on operational research on tuberculosis diagnosis and treatment, Ministry of Health, Republic of Indonesia, evaluation and demonstration of new tuberculosis diagnosis of Indonesia, and get foundation grant from Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation as a co-investigator in the year 2024-2026. She is also expert as a consultancy and expert services in WHO and also Minister of Health, Republic of Indonesia. She was awarded an honor with the Project of Spotlight Award 2022 with Center of Tropical Medicine, University Gadjah Mada, and also 25 top associate editor of BMC Health Services Research Journal. I think we already have women scholars with recognizable world-class academies. So thank you, Prof. You already joined us today, and I hope with your expertise you may edit your notion related to the illness and climate change later on. Welcome, Prof. Ari. And then the next invited speaker is Associate Professor Dr. Muhammad Hairi Ibrahim from University Pendidikan Sultan Idris, Malaysia. He is a lecturer in the Department of Geography and Environmental, Faculty of Human Science, University Pendidikan Sultan Idris, and he is also a lecturer already 21 years and study on the climate course and physical environmental course, as well as environmental studies course. And with a lot of adjunct professor, several university from Indonesia, and also visiting professor with several university in Southeast Asia. So I would like to congratulate you, Professor Dr. Muhammad Hairi Ibrahim. Thank you, and I really hope that your expertise on urban climate change and resiliency would add more value on our strategic in coping with the climate change later on. Thank you, Prof, to join us today. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, before we ask for each invited speaker to give their notions.
Recording in progress.
We would like to give a little bit requirement to the invited speaker that for each will present it 20 minutes for each invited speakers, and then following by discussion for 30 minutes. And for this discussion, I would like to invite the communicative debate among the participants. So that is our section today on the 5th of International Conference on Environmental and Sustainable Development. Thank you. For the continuations, without ado, I would like to invite the first invited speaker, Professor Parulian Silain. Time is yours, Prof, with 20 minutes.
Thank you, everyone. I just want to make a bit of revisions. This is sorry about that because my master degree is not master honoris causa, but my master degree is master honors.
Oh,
So in Australia, before you do the PhD, you have to do two levels of masters. One is the master by coursework, which is 48 credit points, and then you have to do the research and to write the thesis. And then when you pass it, you get the master honors after the master by research. So master honors means that the master that they did the research, right? And then
yes.
after that, if you get a good mark, and then you're allowed to do the PhD. If not, then you can stay with the master honors. That is the revision that I want to make. Thank you very much. I'm sorry. That's okay. That's okay. That's
thank you, Prof. Because this is also important that we realize there is a different education system in Indonesia.
Yeah. Understand. Yeah.
Thank you, Prof.
Understand. Okay. Now, the first things I would like to say good morning, everyone. And my name is Perulian Silayan. It is easier to call me Uli. I'm working for the University of Wollongong in the discipline of accounting. So I'm teaching accounting subject, supervising the students, master research, and then PhD. And I feel very privileged to be invited to this conference as one of the key speakers. I thank you very much for the invitations. And there could be, I think that there's some questions regarding the relationship of accounting discipline with sustainability development, right? So accounting is more, people look at that in the administrations, while the environmental sustainability is a different. It's go to outside to look at the environment, right? So I had this question before when I started teaching a subject called management accounting and advanced management accounting. And I realized that the sustainability is needed and contribution from different disciplines are needed. In this meeting, I would like to convey some contributions of management accounting that may be done. I will share you some of my files here, if you don't mind. This is my, share you my file. Can you see everyone? All good? Okay.
Yeah, it's already.
Yes,
okay.
good.
All good, thank you very much. Right, I will start with, this is the, my first slide. This is the International Conference on Environmental Sustainability Development, which is the 5th ICESD as title contribution. My title of my presentation is about contribution of accounting on sustainability development. I say good morning. Now, let us see that recently we have experience of many natural resources. So we are in this planet. So we can see here, we get drought and earthquakes, extreme heat, floods, hurricanes, landslides, severe weather, space weather, and then the thunderstorm, tornadoes, tsunamis, volcanoes, wildfires, and winter storm. So we experience a very bad experience of many natural disasters in this era. Now let us look at more in detail on that. In 2011, for example, we can see from October to January, flooding in Thailand. In Thailand took 815 lives. People died, and then 13.6 million people affected. And also the loss of the damage and the losses is about 45.7 billions of economic damages. So these are one of the disasters that I can quote. And then we can see as well Hurricane Sandy, which is in the late of 2012. Hurricane Sandy hit several countries such as Jamaica, Cuba, Haiti, and the Dominican Republic, the Bahamas, and the USA, the US Mid-Atlantic and northern states. So, and then it took like a 286 lives, and damage and losses 68 US billion losses, and 7.9 million businesses and households are without electric powers. And then we can see in North India, in June 2013, floods hit North India and took 5,700 or 5,700 lives, and make people, pilgrims and tourists trapped in the area for 100,000 people. and this is the loss. The AIDS and disaster relief have to be spent or amounted to 184 US million. And again, Typhoon Haiyan, Yolanda 2013, is the strongest tropical cyclone hit the Philippines, Guam, Caroline Islands, South China, Vietnam, and Taiwan. This is a lot of economic impact on that and the effect of human lives. You can see here, killing 6,300 people, 9 million of people lost their work, and then of course they lost the business too. And this is the relocated victim, and this is the devastated farming areas, and this is of the long impact of that to the humanity. So we can see that environmental damage has been quite big environmental damage since the industrial revolutions in 1815. At least that in the economically, that is affect that in the environmental effect, damage that affect the economy. So by considering those of my example of natural disaster, then of course we need to be considered about that. What can we do, right? So we can see that increasingly people through the world are recognizing the crisis of sustainability. And so what does sustainability mean? Sustainability includes issues as far-reaching and varied as climate change and the impact of globalizations on living standards in developing nations. So here we can see that the sustainability may impact on the economic, environmental, and social performance. They are all interdependent across time and space. So that is why accounting also, which is the part of the economics aspect here, need to be considered and try to give its contributions to that. Now, let us see what the sustainability means and try to quote some definitions on that. Sustainability, what is the sustainability means here? Then we can see that sustainability has been defined as the development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future generation to meet. Hello? Is there any problem or can I continue?
Yes, Prof. Let's continue.
Okay. So sustainability is defined as development that meets the need of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. Recognizes the importance of eco-justice, including one, intergenerational equity relates to the future generations. So we have to make also to spare the future generations about the eco-justice as well in the environment. We will not damage the environment now and then leave it becomes the problem of the future generations. And then intragenerational equity, meeting our needs. These are the definitions of the sustainability as far as I'm concerned. And then sustainability, of course, requires a change in the way we think. So we have to change our way of thinking. Right, so sustainability recognizes the web of interrelationship and requires system thinking that recognizes a broader range of impact over an extended time. So system thinking, right, system thinking is important. System thinking recognizes the larger context and accept the uncertainty and ambiguity, challenges our worldview, emphasizes the inclusion. So in terms of the system thinking, we're thinking not just internally, just thinking of ourselves, but we have to look at the things that outside of our comfort zone. So that is the system thinking. And then we are thinking about internalities and the externalities aspect as well. That is part of the perspective that the accounting try to use. Right, I can quote here, the truly sustainable organizations are the organizations that achieve an acceptable return for its shareholders, right? And that provides employment and produce products or services, and of course meets the need of other stakeholders without limiting the ability of others to do so, also for now and the future. So the organization's economic, environmental, and social performance are interdependent across time and space. So trade-off often must be considered between various stakeholders such as the social, environmental, and economic interests. So this must be the trade-off that we need to consider, that is part of the system thinking to be aware of. Right, now let us see again about the sustainability. So sustainability, increasingly, people through the world are recognizing the crisis of sustainability. Like I've shown you the damage of the environment so far, so we have to do some things about it. And sustainability includes issues as far-reaching and varied as climate change and the impact of globalizations on living standards in developing nations especially. And then economic, environmental, and social performances are interdependent across times and space. So this is the things that we need to be considered about sustainability. Now, what would be the role of organizations on the issue of sustainability? Do we need the organizations, the company, need to do something that aware about something on the issues of sustainability? Of course, yes. Right. Now, what is that? It says that organizations exist because the organization would like to create value, which is defined as creating wealth for the owners as the primary stakeholders. That is the one thing. And then measuring revenues and costs provided on the part of the organization performance. So talking about revenues, costs, and profit is only part of the performance. Not only that, not limited to that, because it's limited to that, is not talking about externalities. So other impact on stakeholders include externalities. This is what I'm talking about, such as what is the impact in the social and environmental of the organization's activities or operations. So this is also an important aspect. Societal values about social and environmental performance are changing rapidly, and then managing social and environmental performance has become an important part of an organization's risk and management, right? Because when we damage the environments and then we damage the society, society cannot buy our product because they lost the job. The company lost the job and they can't get the salaries or wages, and then they can buy our product. That is one of the things that we need to think of, right? So not just locally, we think of our own perspective, right? Now, what are the externalities? I would like to go more in detail about what do we call as externalities. So that is because the concept of externalities is important on the role of the accounting into this sustainability. In accounting, usually the cost of doing business are usually the items that are internal to organizations, such as how much is the raw material that we purchase, how many hours that people work, how much their overhead cost, distribution, and operating cost. Those all are the costs that also been recorded by the accounting. This is the internal part. In accounting, we usually only limited our perspective just to look at that internal to the organization. Now we start to look at the system thinking by looking at the perspective of other costs that need to be considered concerning the environmental issues. They are the externalities. So it is not just merely the cost of production that we consider, but also need to consider about the costs that affect the society or the environment outside of the company. Right. Now, we can also see the externalities means that the failure of the material decision-making process to consider all the costs of producing and distributing of the product. This is based on the American Accounting Association's 1973. So these are not easy. These are difficult to identify and measure because the cost of the externalities are out there. So it is not very easy to measure. However, we will be minimized if internalized into an organization's cost structure. So if we can consider about the externalities and try to bring it to internalize, and then it becomes our cost of the product. Or even sometimes we will, after we put that by considering the environment, we may reduce our cost later in the future because we consider about the effect of that. We try to reduce that to the environment. Okay, let me give you some example of the internal cost and externalities. So these are, for example, so The first one is the cost of coal or fuel, is the fossil power that we can use, for example, the petrol and whatever fuel. And then this is the internal cost. Now, what are the external costs of this? This is, for example, the externalized cost of the internalized cost that we have, like coal and fuel. For example, community health, which is respiratory illness, particulate matter, sulfur dioxide, nitrous oxide, and so forth. And these are the externalized cost example of the internal cost of coal and fuel. The second is capital loss. Capital loss, for example, this will be internalized cost, and then the externalized cost of this capital cost is the ecosystem health, for example, acid depositions. And the third is labor cost, is internalized cost, which is we are talking about how much the labor cost we can charge it to the cost of the product and make it the sales price, we can sell it to the customers. That is internalized cost. But now we can try to look at that in our company. When we do the operating the company, what is the happen to the infrastructure, degradations of the road, for example. Our tractors pass the road and damage the road and the environment. That will be the infrastructure degradation. Global warming, which is the greenhouse gas emission. Acid rain, sulfur dioxide. Smoke, sulfur dioxide, nitrous oxide, and transformation. These are part of the example of externalized costs. Now, however, what we can do with that? So what the things that we need to do? There are some things that we can do. The externalities can be considered in the emission trading scheme. For example, there are many countries now starting to the emission trading scheme, or ETS. The emission trading scheme, or ETS, is designed to reduce the greenhouse gas pollutions by providing economic incentive to companies to achieve reductions in the greenhouse gas emission, which are a cause of the climate change. It's just a claim by the scientists. So this is part of the one of the steps to internalize the externality. Now, nowadays we can see that I'm talking about the corporate social responsibility, which is the sustainability report, right? Now, some country started requiring the listed company. Listed company means that the company that's selling their share in the stock market, like in Jakarta stock market, or Surabaya stock market, or the New York stock market, or the Sydney stock market. They are the one that listed company to get the public purchase the shares. And all of these listed company need to be prepare their sustainability report to the public, such as in the USA, the United Kingdom, Singapore, Malaysia, Hong Kong, the Philippines, and others. I think that Indonesia has already adopted that. So all of the sustainability, the listed company, they are like a compulsory to prepare the sustainability report. However, in some countries, like the one that I live in now in Australia, it is still as a voluntary to prepare this report. Now, many organizations are also producing dedicated corporate social responsibility report because the customers, the people, especially in developed countries, they all were already aware about this damage of the environment. So they would like to support the company that are about the environmental impact of the operations of the company. If the company claim that they are aware of that and do something about that, the society, especially the social, the people or the customers, will more consider to buy the product from them. For example, in Australia, we have Woolies and Coles is the market that we can buy the food and everything, and they started to delay not use the plastic bag anymore. We use the paper bag. It means that a bit of the considerations on that. So many of that the company in Australia, they try to decrease the usage of the plastic bag. So this is some of the thing. And because the people would like to buy the food and the groceries from the shop, like Woolies and Coles, that if they use the paper bag, if they use plastic bag, people think, oh, no, this company is not socially responsible. Probably that is the image of the customers in the developed country. That's why they support about this corporate social responsibility. And some external reporting framework provide the standard that guide the social and environmental reporting. So we provide the standard. There are a couple of the standard, but the standard, actually several standard format for reporting sustainability, and one of the more advanced format of the sustainability report is the Global Reporting Initiative, or GRI standard. This is one of them. This is the more advanced, and I will talk about that more in detail later on.
Yes.
And adopting reporting framework increase the rigor and comparability of report. By using the report following the standard, and then doing the report following the standard for every time, and then we can do the comparability of the report. How much is the damage of the environment that we have reduced? What activities that we have done? How many percent that we have reduced the impact of to the environment? That we can measure that continuously if we use the same standard. That's why the intentions of GRI standard.
Okay,
So,
Prof. So sorry,
GRI
I would like to
provides a
sorry,
couple of
Prof.
things.
I would like
one
to
is the
gentle
principle-
remind you that
It's
your
the
time
principle
is
for
still
defining report contents, and then sorry, excuse me, and the second is principle for ensuring the report quality. So there is the principle of the report, the contents of the report, and then the principle of the quality of the report. So the quality of the report must be such and such and such and such. And then example of specific indicators of economic, social, and environmental performance. So these are some of the contents provided by GRI. The GRI standard is familiar for the eyes of the accountant, because in preparing the financial report, the accountant has to comply with such standards and principle, including format and financial report. The accountants follows the accounting standard in preparing the report. A sustainability report follow the GRI standard. The GRI standard contains two majors. One is universal and specific standard. The standard is GRI 101 to 103, but the specific standard is come 200 to 400.
Okay.
Now,
Prof, so sorry.
there are two, the
Hello?
principle of the
Prof?
defining report contents and report quality. I can show you here. A principle of defining contents, which is this 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is the detail of that. And the second one we can see is the quality, about the accuracy, balance, clarity, comparability, reliability, and timeliness. These are the necessary principles. This is the descriptions of that. So we need to also consider about the EMS, the Environmental Management System, is the organizational format and systematic process for guiding, measuring, and benchmarking the company's environmental impact. So step to implement that is also need to be considered. So by incorporating with the standard, international standard, for example, ISO 14001 or 4, the organization can receive certification for the environmental performance.
Okay.
Now look at
Prof.
see a couple
So
of
sorry,
steps
Prof. I
of
would
the
like
EMS to determine the
gentle
commitment to the
remind
environmental
you.
performance. The organization's commitment must be specified and articulated in the policy document. Responsibility must be assigned, and identify the organization's significant environmental aspect, and identify legislative and regulative requirement relevant to the environmental aspect. And then the sixth is a couple of things here, up to 10. Establish environmental objective and target, implementation program to achieve the objective and target, monitor and measure progress toward achieving those objectives and target, and take steps to continually improve the effectiveness and efficiency of environmental management, strategically review the continuing effectiveness of environmental management within the organization. So the EMA provides financial and non-financial measures for the environmental related performance, and include the adaptations of existing management accounting tool, which is called the activity-based costing, or ABC. We can create an activity about the environmental management, and then our environmental performance specific system can be put into the activity-based costing, which is part of the concept of accounting. And then the second concept is the create incentive on the ability for the managers to reduce environmental costs, and the measuring the benefit improve the organization financial performance. And of course, this could be part of the performance measurement as well in the balance scorecard in the management accounting concept.
Okay, pardon,
So,
Prof.
I can say,
I would like
think
to
that, two more slides
give
to
you
go.
a gentle
Management
reminder.
accounting tools can be extended to include social and environmental costs, for example, activity-based costing, also the performance measurements using in the balanced scorecard, and still other tools designed to specifically deal with the social and environmental performance. This, like the standard of internal audit. So this is part of the contributions of accounting that would like to be accessed and to be pushed together in the future. Okay. I think that is my presentation for today. Thank you very much for listening and attending this conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. This sex of interesting notion that you really put how accounting can contribute on the sustainable development. Some of the questions still remaining, Prof, but we will keep it later on the discussions. Particularly how we switch the way of thinking, because you emphasize on the system of thinking. And of course, it will be a hot debate on it. But later on, we will hear the next speaker to talk about the health. And Professor Ari already ready, I think. Prof. Ari?
Hello, good morning.
Okay, yes. Prof. Ari will talk related to the antimicrobial resistance and environment. So hopefully Prof. Ari can add some value on the health issue domain. Your time, please, Prof.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity to share some thinking about the connection between environment and antimicrobial resistance. I'm Ari Probandari. I'm working in the department Indonesia. So basically, I would like to talk 4 things. First, I would like to encourage you to get to know the basic concept of antimicrobial resistance. And also we will discuss One Health approach as ongoing discussion on how to tackle the problem of antimicrobial resistance. And also, let's also discuss about the global and national strategies for controlling antimicrobial resistance. And the last one, I would like to discuss as well the role of environmental science in AMR control and the way forward. So let's start with the first thing, the basic concept of antimicrobial resistance, AMR. So AMR basically is a situation where microorganisms that can be bacteria, viruses,
Aku mute.
parasites, or fungi become resistant to the antimicrobial treatment. So you can see in the picture, we can imagine many types of antimicrobia, can be bacteria, viruses, parasites, and fungi, as also having a mechanism to protect themselves. That's including also the mechanism to be resistant to antimicrobial treatment. Why can AMR happen? Basically, there are 2 things that can explain why AMR happen. First is some kind of condition that trigger a resistant mechanism. So for instance, you know that we have, for instance, antibiotics as a type of antimicrobial. If we use antibiotics without any proper indication, or misuse of antimicrobial, or in the increases use of antimicrobial, that's trigger a resistant mechanism. The other examples that explain about the first reason for the happen of AMR is the stressor of antimicrobial. So the situation like pollutions, air pollution, or soil pollution in the environment, that's also trigger a resistance mechanism. The second reason for the AMR phenomenon is the acquired resistance. So for instance, we have the bacteria that are already in a resistant condition. If the bacteria contacts with other bacteria, they can induce the resistance to the new bacteria, to the bacteria that previously have no resistance. And then also AMR in human, for instance, it can occur through contact with polluted waters, contaminated food, inhalation of fungal spores, or other pathways that contain antimicrobial resistant microorganisms. So there are two conditions. Hopefully it's help us to understand why can AMR happen. So let's see an argument by Prestinasi et al. Regarding the importance of environment as factors in AMR phenomenon. So in this picture, we can learn that actually the development and spread of antibiotic resistance can happen due to, for instance, the first one, antibiotic use and other factors in the community, like inappropriate prescription or self-medication among the general population, increasing number of elderly and immunocompromised persons that then trigger the increased use of antimicrobial. So it can contribute to the resistance, but also because of the indirect pathway, which is the role of the environment. So, for instance, because of the use of antibiotics or inappropriate prescriptions and inappropriate also waste of that antimicrobial treatment, so there's a presence of resistance of bacteria in the environment. And also the other behavior like antibiotic use and other factors in hospital, for instance, because of widespread or prolonged use of antimicrobial for therapy or prophylaxis of disease, or invasive surgical procedure and invasive medical devices, increasing number of elderly and immunocompromised patients that also trigger the spread of antibiotic resistance to the direct pathway, also indirect pathway through the role of environment. And also the other behavior like antibiotic use in food producing animals and in agriculture, that also will impact the similar things. They contribute to the development and spread of antibiotic resistance. So hopefully we can understand that environment is important factors to the development of AMR. However, even though we know that kind of mechanism, actually more data on resistance in the environment and frequency of human environment transmission is crucial to understanding antibiotics resistant dynamics. This is an argument by Lepper et al. And I agree with that. It means that even though we know the important role of environment to AMR phenomenon, however, more research is needed because we do not understand all mechanisms between the connection between environment and human, particularly in AMR phenomenon. And the magnitude of that problem, as well as how to mitigate, that's something that's still to be further explored and researched. So this is just an example. In the case of drug-resistant tuberculosis, I would like to show you about the magnitude of problem. For instance, in the case of drug-resistant tuberculosis, Indonesia is one of 8 countries with the total number of rifampicin-resistant tuberculosis incident cases in 2022. So we reflect this data as we can imagine a threat of this problem of antimicrobial resistance in the future. Even the WHO recently also stated that AMR is a global silent epidemic. So, for instance, in Indonesia, we have about 11,000 cases of multi-drug resistant and rifampicin resistant tuberculosis, for instance. And also that problem, I think it can be increased in the future if we do not address it systematically. So in terms of the impact of AMR to the mortality, it is estimated that bacterial antimicrobial resistance was directly responsible for more than 1 million global deaths in 2019. So this is also something that we should take into consideration about the burden of AMR to our life. In addition to that, in terms of the impact to the economic burden, the World Bank also estimate that EMR could result in $1 trillion additional healthcare costs by 2050. So if we do not address the problem of AMR correctly, properly, I think it will be a huge burden of economics in the global as well as in our country in Indonesia. So then let's move to the second issues that we would like to discuss, which is the global and national strategies for controlling AMR. So we have already global action plan on antimicrobial resistance since 2015. It consists of 5 strategies, including the awareness, improvement, and understanding of AMR through effective communication, education, and training. And then the second is strengthening the knowledge and evidence base through surveillance and research. The third one is to reduce the incidence of infection through effective sanitation, hygiene, and infection prevention measures. And then to optimize the use of antimicrobial medicine in human and animal health, and lastly, to develop the economic case for sustainable investment, particularly in new medicine, diagnostic tool, vaccine, and other intervention. So in the global level, there is also some movement to look at the problem of AMR more systematically by conducting the global antimicrobial resistant and use surveillance system, or GLASS as the abbreviation. So in GLASS, this is reported annually. We can see the report. The last one is in 2022. And we can see here, GLASS consists of any kind of surveillance, in many types of antimicrobial, for instance, for fungal infection, for sexually transmitted infection, for human health, One Health surveillance model, etc. So this is quite a good movement, try to measure the tendency of the burden of AMR, how it's going right now. And by following the GLASS report, we know that whether the problem is going worse or our intervention is still on the track to combat the problem, or we need to have more intervention or initiative. Also, there is another assessment called Tracking AMR, Country Self-Assessment Survey, or TRACS. So TRACS basically is a survey regarding the implementation of National Strategic Plan of AMR. So let's see also the result for Indonesia, particularly by this following data. Yeah, and then also in the global level, we have also several initiatives. I think 2024 is a very good time for policy action because in May and June 2024 we had World Health Assembly, and also it's discussed about AMR problem, and then we will have UN General Assembly in September. That's also AMR topics there, and as well as the specifically 4th Global High-Level Ministerial Conference on AMR in November 2024. It's we glad to see that there are some movement like Global Leaders Group on Antimicrobial Resistance as well as AMR multi-stakeholder partnership platform in the global level. In Indonesia, we already have the National Action Plan on AMR. And if we see here, I would like to just to bold several strategies. We can see that it is coherent with the global action plan that I have mentioned. So the first strategy is the same like in the global level, which is the raising of awareness and understanding of AMR through communication, education, and training. And then the second strategy is also about surveillance and research. And the third strategy is about the sanitation and hygiene, as well as the prevention and control on infections. The fourth strategy is about supervising and enforcing follow-up sanction against the distribution and use of non-standard antimicrobial in humans, animals, fish, and plants. And also the increasing spending on medical treatment governance, diagnostic methods, and new vaccines. And the last one, I think this is something that added in our national strategic plan on AMR, which is the developing of integrated governance and coordination to control AMR. Because we aware that the problem of AMR is not the problem of health sector only, but it's problem of multi-sectors, at least like environmental sectors and also the animal health and also the other sectors, regulations, as well as the investment sector, something like that. So private sectors also play the important things. So let's see one of the approach that promoted to tackle the AMR problem, which is One Health approach. So One Health approach basically is the approach that in order to prevent and tackle the problem of AMR, we need to have comprehensive approach to include three aspects, three sectors and disciplines, which are environment, human, and animal. So we can segregate human health with animal health with environmental health in terms of tackling AMR. So that's why the collaboration, communication, coordination, and capacity building will be important to include the three sectors. So One Health is also considered as essential approach to prevent AMR spread and reduce the public health impact of AMR in low and middle income countries. So based on the 2023 TRACS country report, the survey that conducted by the global level. For instance, as we see here, I would like to just pick one aspect about the training and professional education on AMR in agriculture, food, and environmental sectors. The situation is in the global level here in the yellow dot. It's on the capacity is in a B, still limited, but we're glad that Indonesia now is in the E phase, which is sustained. So that's a very good performance of Indonesia in terms of the training and professional education on AMR, including also the environmental sectors. And also the other data from this report also mentioned that Indonesia already have national assessment of risk for residues of antimicrobial compounds and antimicrobial resistant pathogen in the environment. Even though in the global level, there is only 16% of the countries out of 171 countries in the survey that having that kind of national assessment. And Indonesia also has the legislation or regulation to prevent contamination in the environment with antimicrobial compounds and their mobilities, metabolites discharged to the environment. So we're glad with this achievement. And also Indonesia already has a system for regular monitoring and of antimicrobial compounds on their metabolites. So I think this is a very good achievement. So for overview about the implementation of One Health approach for Indonesia, if we tracking the performance from 2019 to current days in 2023 report, we can see the very good progress regarding the multi-sector and One Health collaboration and coordination. Even though it's still to be improved, yeah, it's in the phase of demonstrated. It is not sustained yet. And then regarding the National Action Plan on AMR, we have already the National Action Plan. We have also raising awareness, understanding for AMR risk and response, even though it's not sustained yet. And I think the other area to be improved is the youth education and AMR. I think this is something that we can do together. And we also learned this data, the trend, yeah, between 2019 to 2023 regarding the national assessment of risk for residues of antimicrobial compounds and legislation to prevent contamination of the environment with antimicrobials, and also a system for regular monitoring of antimicrobial compounds. We already have the regulation. However, I think identification of the bottleneck of the implementation and address them are essential initiatives to be conducted. So the last one, I would like to discuss about the role of environmental science in AMR control, and also some idea about that we need to way forward as a community, science community, to help the initiatives to control AMR. So we learned that actually environmental health, particularly water, sanitation, hygiene, waste management, food hygiene and safety are key components to AMR control. So that's why I think the way forward, I think it is our responsibility together to contribute to the movement to control AMR. First, scaling up education and training on AMR and the environment. Yeah, education among youth will be something that we need to do, and this is something that in Indonesia is still lacking. The second is strengthening AMR surveillance related to the environmental aspect. The third is improving regulation and practices. We have already the regulation and practices to prevent AMR from environmental point of view, but I think the implementation in the field, this is something that needs to be identified for the bottlenecks and address that to have more better implementation. And the last one is research and innovation to address the dynamic relationship between environment and AMR, knowing that not all the mechanisms already have the knowledge about that. And also the research is something needed to improve the implementation of policy or program of AMR. That's all. Thank you very much for your attention. Okay. Most welcome for the question. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Ari, for your data and analysis also bring us into recommendation to way forward in tackling of antibacterial resistance. I think a lot of homework for us, and hopefully we will start it with discussion later on to see how as a scientific community we can involve in tackling the impact of climate change and environmental change into antibacterial resistance. As you already mentioned, that the burden is already 1.27 million global death, yeah, by 2030. This is quite shocking number for us, Prof. Ari. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, before we continue with the discussion, please keep the question for both the previous invited speaker, and we are going to the next speaker, the third one. We already have Professor Dr. Muhammad Hairi Ibrahim. He will talk about urban climate challenge, resilience, and sustainability. Hopefully, Prof. Hairi Ibrahim already there and ready on screen. 20 minutes will be yours to present your notion.
Thank you for our moderator. Thank you very much. You can hear me?
Yes, yeah, it's quite clear, Prof.
Okay. Okay, thank you. You can see my slide?
Okay. Yeah, now it's ready preview.
Okay, thank you. So, thank you for Universitas Negeri 11 Maret to invite me to become the invited speaker for this session for the conference. I think I have 20 minutes only today, so quite rushed today. So I have around 20 minutes, maybe a little bit more. So my topic today is about urban climate challenges, resilience, and sustainability. So there is our role on goal 13 for the SDGs, take urgent action to combat climate change and its impacts. There is one part for our, what I mean, for our role in any or any community in the world. So my scope today, I have four scope for 20 minutes. I try my best. In a region over a long period of time. So very important to us as a human in and doing activities. So human activities have increased carbon dioxide, CO2 emission, driving on temperature, extreme weather as what first invited speaker highlight before this, and melting polar ice are among the possible effects. So we can look up how the situation right now, we having a heat impact in all the countries because we have hot weather, temperature, extreme situation, certain month in any country in the world. So, what is our role for the future leaders to play key role in the societal transformation? So, what the role is develop a climate change knowledge, human resilience, and sustainability. What I want to share for today my session. So after this, I want to highlight about, as we know, as we know, the impact of climate change for the global climate change impact. Whether the second speaker highlight about the species impact to species impact to health and related. Also, maybe I will highlight about maybe relate on urban weather, urban temperature, like urban climate. So when we talk on that, I think all the countries are doing the development and what happened, our environmental situation is environmental changes. There is our activities, including the changes is the world urban population increase, especially in Asia. We can look at the map, including Asia, including Indonesia, especially also in Malaysia, in other countries. So Africa and Asia is the urbanization faster. So now we can look at how the changes of development faster in Jakarta having boost now. Uh, I think new development coming and related with boost activities, including Kalimantan going develop, become become a new urban area uh, for the nation country after Jakarta. So I think there is we need to alert the changes for the futures. So this is the just news about the climate change to country and human in little bit article. So when we talk about the climate change, we talk about causes of climate change, just highlight the rapid industrialization, greenhouse gases like CO2 and other gases, intense pollutant and deforestation. I think this is a good study for the postgraduate student. So, and we can look at the history of the global surface temperature since 1880 is more changes after the 1970s or 1980s in any country. So we can look up also the increasing of the industrial activities, also increasing the CO2 emission in the uh, global changes. The rapid industrial effect, environment, and ultimately contribute to climate changes. This happen in any countries in the global. So also we can look up the cities become more vulnerable um, to the natural disaster and to the effect of climate change. Many urban and peri-urban communities are highly exposed to food insecurity and poverty. I think there is situation for the climate change issue for the global. So we can see also three part of catastrophic of the rise of effect from the global climate change challenges, especially for the climatology event like extreme temperature, drought, and fire, forest fire, also including hydrological event, flood, and mass movement like what happened. I think last 4 months or 3 months happened in Batu Sangkar. Surrounding that, they're having a flood happen and a geomorphological effect from the flood effect. And the third phase is meteorological event like what first speaker highlight about tropical, extratropical, convective, and local storm. And and we can look up how the human influence has warmed the climate. This is the global highlight from the IPCC, Interpanel Government Climate Change data. So also effect climate change from the global climate change have already had observed effect on the environment. So also the global warming data also showing about the changes of the global average temperature
from 1850 to 2019. So also having, we can look at the changes of melting of ice, in example, Switzerland, and also from the data, NASA highlight also how the changes of the data from the extract heat clearly indicate that human caused greenhouse gases emission are resulting in weather extreme that is simply living condition. So we can look up also from the data of rising of sea level, and then when we talk on that now, our challenges, I think within 5 years in any country in the world having the challenges of climate change effect, um, then having a problem about heat wave effect, including to human life effect, including to water security effect, including having a problem about dust and chemistry, including for agriculture and crop, also the health and others effect. And then this is our challenges, urban climate challenges, resilience and sustainability. And our question now, we need to answer our own self. Ourself is what our responsibility. So when we talk about climate change is real based on the data and undeniable threat to our entire civilization, because based on all the data show the effect of the already visible and will be catastrophic unless we act now, especially through education. Now the conference is we share the knowledge through education, because we're having the conference and I share my experience, little bit my experience to everyone. Maybe we have different specialists to share to combat the climate change and sustainability. So there is very important to tackle the climate change mitigation. We want to understand about climate change mitigation, our role in climate change mitigation, administrative and policy, including community engagement, also climate change mitigation planning. So on this part, I think when we talk about climate change effect, I think no need to explain all the picture showing to everyone. I think the impact to economy, to global warming worse, then more the effect prediction about warm. So I think about distress. So I think a lot of effect from the climate change. And then on that we can see the challenges, climate change challenges, climate change impact toward urban city and city resilience. What meaning of city resilience? A city resilience is prepared to absorb and cover from any shock of stress while maintaining its essential function, structure and identify, as well as adapting and thriving the face of continuing change. Building resilience requires identify and assessing hazard risk, reducing vulnerability and exposure, and lastly, increasing resistance, adaptive capacity, and emergency preparedness. So we can see what's the problem of the city area. And then this is the situation, climate change challenges, resilience, and understanding. All the networking resilient city need to understand all the the framework recover, adapt, and transform. And then when we talk about before we talk about urban climate resilience and sustainability, we need to understand a resilient city framework. They we related to leadership and strategies, well-being, health and well-being, economy and society, and including infrastructure and environment. So when we talk about urban resilience to climate change, we need to understand the framework of urban system, vulnerable group, and climate change. And from these three components related with the urban poverty reduction, urban climate risk management, and disaster risk reduction. I think these three common three components having relationship to the subsystem. You can see the three key questions related to the system of urban resilient to the climate change. So when we talk about climate change and resilient city, this is the framework of in the current environment. We need to understand about vulnerability research is incredibly important to prevent future disaster. This is a very important building resilience in the key to adapt well to adversity, trauma, tragedy, treat to or even significant source of stress. You can see the two part, the understanding of vulnerability, including climate change and building the resilience, because this is having the catalytic agent, having share learning to understand all the system in the urban area. So this we call urban climate change resilient. Urban climate change resilient or UCC are referred to the ability of the city to manage the threat and increasing urban population face due to the climate change and associated risks. I think I have a lot of student postgraduate doing PhD and masters with me. Maybe they can do the same thing in Universitas 11 Maret, focusing on urban climate change resilience studies for masters and PhD or postgraduate part level in 11 Maret together, and we can collaborate with me. So when we talk about urban climate sustainability, we need to relate it with the climate risk analysis, including a three-part component with the hazard, adaptive capacity, including the vulnerability. I think the climate risk analysis begin an assessment of hazard due to the potential of change in the climate. So uncertainty in climate information will make it increasing difficult to support design specification of the infrastructure and building resilience. An urban center resilient to the climate change is influenced by its resilience to the stresses and shock in the past. So that's the last role is the community resilience. We need to develop a community resilience related to urban climate resilience, having action, learning, and resources and capacity. This is the three-part component that preparation and mitigation processes will increase that system level of resilience. So I think the same thing just highlight what our role to having a relation with the resilient community, and then this community resilient framework including how the asset, hazard, and vulnerability having relationship to develop a community resilient refer to SCAFR 2019. And then example, one of city in the Copenhagen as a resilient city. So there is our goal to address is goal 6, 9, 11, and 13 as SDGs goal. So lastly, I want to say is climate change resilient for the sustainability Java Island, Indonesia, especially for Solo or Surakarta area. And there is a big future vision together. I think I come lastly I come to Solo last year, and then I think I have around UNS 11 Maret, I think 4 or 5 times. I think this is a good time to sharing again. This is our big future vision. And then this is for our goal 13 climate action SDGs 2030 for everyone. So I think everyone know about it. That is my goal for sharing for today. So and then just want to highlight my book you can buy on online for Lazada, Ubeli, and Shopee. Also, Upsi online. This is my SDGs book, the latest one, for 35 ringgit only. So I hope everyone can support me to buy my new book and with my team about indigenous people for SDGs. So, and lastly, thanks for the committee of the conference to invite me become an invited speaker. So let's follow SDGs to meet the goal of SDGs. Lastly is partnership for the goal. Thank you, everyone. If I have any mistake, I want to say sorry to everyone. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Prof. Hairi, who already presented his notions on the urban climate challenge, resiliency and sustainability. Prof. Hairi already present the idea about the urban city and how it put it to be community resiliency. Of course, it will be more discussion, particularly when we involve the debate on the previous speaker. The first speaker talked about the way of changing in mind, particularly how to put accounting to be one of contribution in calculate the climate change. And then the second speakers already mentioned about the antibacterial as one of the impact climate change on health issue. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite our dear participants to join into the discussions. Maybe the organizer already.
Untuk ini ngecek persiapan itu
already inform us on chat or okay. Hopefully there is a participants who will directly open mic and having a question. Once again, I calling the dear participants to join into the discussion. Okay.
I think Kolisha.
Oh yes. Okay.
Amaria? I think so.
Okay, Ibu Kolisha.
Hi.
We will
good
give your
morning,
times.
everyone.
Okay, please.
It's my voice. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Ibu Kolisha, your voice is clear enough.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Holisa. I am representing my company, Greenwise Consulting, and I would like to ask Bapak Parulian Sirayan. First of all, thank you so much for your presentation. Very interesting, and I think this is the first time I've heard about the environmental management accounting, and I would like to learn more about that. Is there any globally accepted standards for the EMA or perhaps a nationally accepted standard for this? And do you know if this has been implemented by any companies here in Indonesia? Is there any best practices? If there is, I would really love to know that. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Ibu Kolisa.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I would like to respond to that. I think that the standard that we use is been. Hang on a minute. Hang on. Okay. I think that the standard that you use is we use the GRI standard, right? So GRI standard is the standard is more advanced than other standard, and that is been developed in Europe. I think that in Indonesia now it's been applied. I just want to, if you they are the listed company in Indonesia, they have to make the report. I think that about sustainability report, and the sustainability report must follow the standard, use the standard, and most of the company they use the standard, they use the GRI standard. Right, so that is part of the standard to be followed, and in many of the idea of the sustainability report is basically looks like similar to the accounting, because accounting using the accounting standard to prepare the financial report, and then the GRI standard now can consist of a GRI 101 and up to the 400. They have the standard; those are the items that to be reported in the sustainability report. So that is why I think that there are a couple of courses done now to get this more professional certifications. That's what I follow that using the one of the training. They have to attend that, and this is run by the European GRI company institution. I think that the standard in internationally. And then it is run in Indonesia to some university or in Singapore. You can attend that and to get the certificate, and you have to do the test, and then you have to do the class, and it's like about 1 week course, and then you have to do that, and at the end of the course you have to get the exam, and then if you pass the exam, then you can get the they call it as the CSRS, the Certified Sustainability Report Specialist. By having this standard, the certificate, then you are eligible, right? Eligible according to the requirement, eligible to provide, to make the sustainability report of the listed company. So you have to be certified by the certification, the professional certification. Other than that, if you go more advanced on that, then you will get to the one other advanced certificate on that. We call it as for the auditor. So you will become eligible to become the auditor to audit the sustainability report of the company, whether it is correct or not. And that is that most of the CSRS, I think many of them, they are mostly a management accountant, because this is more for the reporting prepared, not the financial report, but more into the part of the management report. So that is why management accountant is more related to that. Did I answer your questions, Kolisa?
Yes, thank you very much. So essentially, the EMI is like a part of the sustainability report, right?
Yes. EMI, they have that, but not specifically in that. But you have to go to the GRI training, and then you can get the certificate. When you pass the test, and then you can get the certificate. They call it Certified of Sustainable Reporting Specialist. I did that, and I did that already. And then every year you have to pay the membership, and you can do it in Singapore or you can do it in Indonesia. They are internationally recognized.
Okay.
So if you want to be able to prepare the report for the company, if you are like your company or you want to open your consultancy to open the to prepare that, you can be appointed as a consultant to prepare that. You have to be certified by this training.
Yes. Okay.
It's like when you prepare the financial report, you have to be certified, like the CPA or CAA. You have to be certified on that.
Okay, thank you so much, Prof. I think it is quite clear that the GRI is part of the indicators, yeah, certification.
Yes.
By the way, I still have a question related to the external things in GRI.
Externalities, yes.
Yes, externality. Is that also calculate the externality, particularly in relation to the climate change, Prof?
Yeah, I think that is the idea. Because usually in accounting, for example, we are talking about production cost. Production cost basically consists of 3 items of the cost. They call it direct material cost, direct labor cost, and overhead cost. But those are the costs that evidence as the internalized by the company. Those are the costs that recognized by the company to become the product cost. So now it is only the matter of recognition. If we recognize that the environmental cost is part of our responsibility, those are the externalities. Those are like the damage of the sea, which get the a lot of pollutions there, and then we want to be responsible because we damage the environment, and then we can pay the cost on that. So the cost on that external environment, that external to the company, we try to internalize that to become the cost of the company. We may charge that to the product, and then the customers may be related. The customers may be happy to see that we are responsible to whatever that we are doing.
Yes, thank you, Prof. It is quite clear right now. Okay, I would like to see whether on the chat or the others participant already have questions. Is there any committee? If not, then we can continue for the discussion. Actually, for myself, I'm quite curious about the urban systems already talked by Prof. Hairi, and also in relation to the health, because Prof. Hairi mentioning about the systems, how to develop community resilience, and in terms of the most vulnerable group, of course, the poor ones becoming the most vulnerable one in the impact of climate change. And I would like to also invite Professor Ari, maybe to join into these discussions, how we protect the most vulnerable one under the issue of One Health. Okay, maybe I will give first to the Prof. Hairi.
So thanks, moderator. So we can see now the climate change effect during the currently around 5 years. Usually during April, May, and June until July, we have the climate change changes, especially the temperature increase in Asia. I think around 35 onward. So I think what happened now, we have what I said before this. We have heat effect situation. That means heat effect will affect the currently in the urban area. So I think for media, one of we know before this the artists of the Hollywood like Shah Rukh Khan also having effect about heat wave stroke. I think this is the
the the heat stroke effect for the human effect from the heat wave effect. This is the new head effect during the heat wave coming to any area. So when I went to I'm not especially for the health, but I want to highlight now when the climate change happen, and usually in urban area is more heat will increase because the morphology of the urban area will having a relationship with the weather area in the urban area. If the development of urban area not having a sustainability for the environment. So that's why I showing the before on my session, I showing about urban resilience to the climate change. When we talk about urban resilience in climate change, we need to understand about the urban system, especially about the morphology system in urban area from the center of urban area until the suburban and the periphery urban system. So this is one part we need to understand, and very important to the government sector and industrial sector having related with the urban development. They need to understand about urban system related to the climate change, because what they will develop, they will increase the heat wave from the morphology system to the atmosphere system. So that is important. Then they need to know about urban climate risk management when they develop the urban area, and how they develop and will reflect the urban system. So they also need to understand how they can relate with the vulnerable group, including their role to urban poverty reduction. So they need to understand their job and their role. Any studies for the student and postgraduate, they need to understand how does the city work. Very important. And the second one, who is the least able to respond to shock and stress. And the third one, they need to understand what are the direct and indirect impact of climate change in the urban system. And there is the all together we need to understand about directly impact and indirectly impact. So that's mean when we talk about urban climate resilience, and urban resilience describe a city that is resilient on 3 levels. First, the system of city survival shock and stress related to urban climate changes. Second one is the people and organization are able to accommodate 3 stress into their day-to-day decision, especially in decision planning and decision making. And the third one is the city institution structure continue to support the capacity of the people and the organization of fulfill their aim. That means how they manage and make decision and planning and doing the development. That is very important when we develop any development in the urban area. So when this part, all the community of the system of urban system, they need to understand about understanding about vulnerability in the urban area possibility happen. And the second part is building resilience. And D is having relationship or share learning to understand the system of climate change and resiliency. So that's why when we, after any challenges like heat wave coming to any country, suppose any city area need to do about climate risk analysis, and the climate risk analysis need to have a three component very important: hazard, adaptive capacity, and vulnerable. These two parts we need to mold together to understand and to can develop urban center resilient to the city change is influenced by its religion, is resilient to the stress and shock in the past. So we can project how much the climate risk analysis happen in any city. That is the very important. That's my response to the moderator.
Okay, thank you so much, Prof. Because this is quite important to put the emphasis on the vulnerable groups. And I would like to deliver the same question to the Professor Ari, particularly in relation to the antibacterial resistant, Prof.
Thank you very much. Yeah. I also post the answer in the chat box in case that my voice is not clear enough there. So basically, there is still knowledge gap in terms of the identification of vulnerable population regarding AMR. So if we see further about One Health approach, it's also include the importance of health environment as important factors to the AMR. So that's why I think what we can do is more research for the identification of the vulnerable population. From the environmental perspective, I think we know that poor sanitation, poor hygiene, poor waste management, pollution, I think that's the factors to the phenomenon of AMR. So that's people that working in the context with poor sanitation, poor hygiene, high level of pollution, that can be the vulnerable population. So I think research is needed, for instance, to get to know whether people living in Jakarta, for instance, with high level of air pollution is having higher risk for AMR. In addition to that, I think also the people that working in a farm, like farmers or working in the animal husbandry, also can be the vulnerable population. So I think more research will be needed for answering that question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Prof. Ari. I think this becoming the next future collaboration, to understand better in based on research, because this is the important ones before we go to get the solutions in the futures. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, particularly the dear participants, is there any questions on the chat box? No? Okay, because no questions for our speakers, I would like to enclose our first sections by saying thank you so much for all participants, and particularly for our honorable speakers who already give us some opportunity for doing next research, next project, also inviting for us for collaborations. And once more, I emphasize on the two items based on our previous discussion. The first one is it is important to understand the concept of vulnerability caused by climate change, including in health issue and also how involving accountings to solving the problems. And then the second thing, collaborations and multi-sectoral engagement becoming important for the next few years, able to tackling the issue of climate change. And I think under the theme of building resilient futures, advancing ecological sustainability and conservation, we end into the first sections and the time. Okay, yes, I have a reminder by the committee that there will be a symbolic certificate to be handed over to our honorable speakers. The first ones, I invited Professor Parulian Silain. Yes, this is just the symbolic ones. Hopefully, Professor Parulian Silain accept our certificate, and the next future there will be a collaborations. Okay, the next symbolic certificate will be given to the Professor Dr. Ari Natali Probandari from 11 Maret University. Okay, actually we can give it directly to Professor Ari Natali. Okay, thank you, Prof. And then the third one, the certificate will be given to the Associate Professor Dr. Muhammad Hairi Ibrahim from University Pendidikan Sultan Idris, Malaysia. Thank you so much, Prof. Hairi, for your notion and the invitation for the next collaborations. And okay, as a moderator, I would like to close the first sections today by saying thank you so much for all the invited speakers and also the participants who already joined with us and involved in the discussions. And the next session, I will give the times to our MC.
Okay, thank you so much, Mrs. Haryani, for moderating the first plenary session. And it was really nice to be able to hear all the important messages and new informations regarding the sustainability and conservation. And we would like to continue for our second plenary session. I would like to invite and welcome Dr. Channel 3 Handoko as this session's moderator. Okay, Dr. Channel, the time and place will be given to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Jessica, and also thank you for all of the participants and also all of the committee members who extend the invitations once again to me to be part of this international conference. So I'm very excited to join you during this second plenary session after the first session. I'm hopeful that the energy of the presenters and all of the participants will persist throughout in the next few hours. So during the upcoming second plenary session, we have two distinguished speakers. The first is from the National Research and Innovation Agency, Professor Purwanto, and the second comes from National Donghua University, Professor Chun Hung Lee. For all of the participants during the presentation of the speakers, please mute your microphone, and if you have kind of the question, comments, etc., please still keep in your mind, and you can deliver it directly after the presentation of the Professor Chun Hung Lee. Or you can also type your question in the chat box. So let me extend a warm welcome to Professor Purwanto DEA and Professor Chun Hung Lee, who will share their insights and expertise with us. So the first speakers is Professor Purwanto from Research Center for Ecology and Ethnobiology, a National Research and Innovation Agency. Now we call it BRIN. Professor Purwanto is a professor of ethnobiology, graduated from the Faculty of Agriculture, Universitas 11 Maret, and then obtained the master and also the PhD in Université Sorbonne Pierre et Marie Curie in France. I hope my pronunciation is right, is correct. Professor Purwanto joined the Indonesian Institute of Science, formerly LIPI, since 1985, and in early 2021 until now joined to the National Research and Innovation Agency, BRIN. So as a researcher, he has expertise in ethnobotany and ethnobiology. So Professor Purwanto has now, let I say before, he worked in BRIN, and in 2008 until 2020 he was executive director of the Indonesian MAB, the Man and Biosphere UNESCO National Committee, and in 2020 until 2023 as a chairman of the Indonesian MIB UNESCO National Committee. He has so many publications and awards. For example, the awards he received, 2 awards from UNESCO in 2015 and also 2021 in recognition of his long-term support and contribution to UNESCO Natural Science Program in the Asia and Pacific region, particularly in the field of environmental science. And also, he also received the Satya Lencana Karya Award from our president from 10 years until 30 years. And in 2024, he received Bintang Mahaputra Nararya from President of the Republic of Indonesia. So before Professor Purwanto begins his presentation, I would like to inform all of the participants that Professor Purwanto told to the committee in the Sunday night that today he has kind of the urgent task in the southwest of Papua. So Professor Purwanto decided to give us the video for his presentation, and we hope you can still enjoy the expertise or the material that Professor Purwanto sent to us. So for the committee, please, we can go ahead to the Professor Purwanto.
All participants. Firstly, I would like to thank the organizing committee and UNS postgraduate who invite and give me an opportunity to deliver presentation on building resilience, future and advancing ecological sustainability and conservation. The 5th International Conference on Environmental and Sustainable Development. My presentation will focus on building a resilient future, lesson learned from Indonesian bioreserve development. The establishment and development of bioreserve as a vehicle for sustainable development is an effort to maintain life. It is mean that maintain life and keeping survival mean protecting us from disaster. This is our opinion to keep spirit more in the bioreserve development. With the spirit of building sustainable area, avoiding and reducing disaster, increasing human resources capacity, and improving the standard of living of local communities. Indonesia in the last 14 years has built 14 new bioreserves, so that Indonesia currently has 20 bioreserves. The construction and the development of this biosphere reserve has contributed to supporting sustainable development effort by implementing the biosphere reserve concept. In the world, there are currently 759 biosphere reserves spread across the 136 countries. The development of the biosphere reserve in Indonesia is also an effort to support sustainable development, conservation diplomacy at the global level, build network and cooperation at local, national and international level through regional like Southeast Asia Biosphere Network and international World Network of Biosphere Reserve Network as an area for world interaction. Currently, Indonesia continues to develop the concept of biosphere reserve as a vehicle for sustainable development in eastern region of Indonesia, such as currently preparing biosphere reserve nomination for Raja Ampat and the Tambro region in the southwest Papua. It is hoped that the application of the biosphere reserve concept can increase the community's ability to deal with change occurring in the region. Okay, this is an existing condition of Indonesian biosphere reserve based on analysis of SWOT have done. We have identified external and internal driver. This analysis to support the implementation of biosphere reserve concept. For internal driver, we identify the strengths, weakness, and solution program implementing and strategy. External driver, we identify the opportunities and threats, and also solution program implementing and strategy such as encouraging role of research institutions and universities in research and development of biosphere reserve. Second, strengthening local communities' role in the biosphere reserve management, and the third, strengthening the management institution, legal aspects, integrated management plan and action plan, and increasing capacity of human resources. And four, develop communication, coordination, and cooperation strategy between parties. And the five, tackling illegal activities. And last, support the sustainability budget and fundraising. What have been done? Each biosphere reserve in Indonesia has an integrated management and action plan. This integrated management plan and action plan lead to three functions of biosphere reserve. There are three main activities in the biosphere reserve development, which are first, conservation of biological resources and ecosystems, such as restoration, law enforcement, strengthening local community, institutions, etc. And the second, sustainable economy development. Development of agroforestry, plantation, ecosystem services, agricultural, animal husbandry, fishery, etc. And the third, logistic support, like research, education, monitoring, evaluation to support the concept economy. These three biosphere functions, we have developed an approach strategy include first, natural landscape ecosystem management approach. The second, strengthening institution and legal aspect. And the third, community involvement, and the fourth, multi-party role, five, partnership, cooperation, coordination, and the sixth, science and technology innovation for new strategy, and the seventh, determining priorities, and each funding like fundraising and sustainable budget. And the last is sustainability action. Make a situation or rule that allow all aspects of community activities that are economically, socially, and ecologically sustainable. This is the scenario for strategy. As usual, business as usual. Basel Reserve as integrated management plan and action plan, which change due to natural influence and human activity. New strategies need to be developed. The impact of changes in clear is due to natural factor and human activity causing change in regional conditions. Therefore, we set a new strategy based on analysis of changing conditions, analysis of science and technology, methodological approach, sustainable science, and etc. The new strategy is life journey, mean that this new strategy will always develop and run according to change. With the current situation and condition, we must be able to develop new strategy that can respond to change that's occur. Therefore, the development of Basel Reserve in Indonesia must lead to the ability to resilience, adaptive, transform, and scaling up. Resilience, this is the capacity to recover and bounce back after disturbance. Adaptive, this attempt to adjust and change to help everything return to normal after a few disturbances. Transformation, the ability to change and create systems that are basically new when circumstances demand this. And scaling up is to make increasing, continuous improvement. How to have resilience ability? We have to combine between business as usual and new strategy. And the condition of business as usual must be supported by several aspects, including first, sustainable management of the landscape and marine landscape diversity and its ecosystem. The second, sustainable management of biodiversity, including agriculture, biodiversity. And the third, management of Basel Reserve through scientific-based management. And the fourth, increasing the development ability and mastery of science, technology, and innovation. The fifth, good governance and social justice. And the sixth, providing livelihood, increasing income, living standard, and community welfare. How about the adaptive ability? This slide shows you several aspects to support the adaptive ability. To achieve adaptive capabilities, we combine business as usual strategy and several supporting aspects as follows. The first, capacity building. Increasing human resources capacity can increase the ability to adapt to change. Knowledge and experiment sharing. New knowledge can increase the ability to adapt to change. Co-investment and research development. And then value-adding approach to conflict resolution and integrated approach and collective solution. And partnership, cooperation, coordination, and the last is mechanism for incorporating learning into planning. This slide shows you the effort to support the ability of transformation based on business strategy, plus several efforts as follows. First, develop innovation, and the second, develop new adoption. The third, diversification of method, effort, and Basel product. Four, modified institution management of Basel Reserve that can respond to change due to natural aspect, human activity, and other associated change. The five, strengthen law and rule that can respond to changing situation. The sixth, local empowerment to change, increasing awareness and advocacy to build great understanding about the changes, how to respond to change, how to transport the change, and how to recover after change. The new strategy can be through scientific study and analysis of the actual condition of the Bowser Reserve area by taking into account all the aspects such as the application of science, technology, and innovation. The following schemes show the sequence of identification and characterization of the condition of Bowser Reserve. To obtain new strategy, apply technology adapted and problem solution in order to build resilience, adaptive transformation, and scaling up capabilities to achieve conditions that are always continuous improvement towards sustainable development. The expected outcome of the new strategy of Bowser Reserve development. First is sustainable socio-economic development with indicator increased product and productivity, improving human resources, job availability, and increasing income. And the second, equitable growth and develop. Increase income and living standard, for example, enhancing the ability of farmer to manage land and increasing community access to natural resources. The third, social, economic, and environmental resilience. The first is role of production activities. And then relationship between landscape-based ecosystem and other sector. It is more profitable for the land use system managed by the local community. And four, healthy and production ecosystem providing services. With indicator, first, decrease of deforestation rates, tree cover gain, sedimentation, surface runoff, habitat fragmentation, and fire-prone area. And the five, reducing emission. With indicator, gross emission from mineral soil, gross emission from peatland, and absorption rates. And next slide, what should we do to achieve resilient, adaptive, transformative, and scale up? The first, establishing priority to manage and develop three functions of Bowser Reserve. The first priority is to achieve balance of social economic objective with environmental goal. The second priority is between competing opportunity and demand. And the third is priority based on the result of scientific and structural studies, so that decision about the priorities can be trusted and can be driven. And the next slide, important aspects that must be considered in determining priority are first, identify priority action in 20 different Bowser reserves. Each Bowser reserve is unique, specific, and special condition. We must have a management and action plan that is specifically targeted to create opportunity and take advantage of special potential and continue to learn, keep learning to improve, continuous improvement. And then we never assume that we have found the right answer and are able to overcome the problem at hand. And last, we always are trying to improve the ability and capacity to continue to develop in the context of sustainable development resources. And the next slide, I would like to mention that to determine the priorities, we must focus on the direction of objective to support resilience ability, namely first, identifying the capacity of element of Bowser reserve, communities, biodiversity, physical aspects to respond to change while maintaining identity has been called resilience. The second is identify processes and trends that might make the system less and more resilient in relation to various present and future scenarios. Next slide. How to identify and characterize priorities in developing a new strategy. The first is start from science, technology, and innovation approach. And second, develop an open source platform. And then test it directly with local stakeholders. And then monitoring and evaluation, and then review. And the last is program priority, model concept, or replication. The next slide. Here are some supporting aspects for the community to become more resilient. The first, success in a sustainable production system. The second, environmental conditions that are able to support more productive. The third, increase ability to develop smart solutions to more complex problems. And four, having the ability to survive in rapidly changing conditions. The five, have the ability to develop diversification and innovate in primary production and tourism. And six, give inspiration to community members and other stakeholders to grow together. All of this needs support from advocacy and building capacity to push resilient ability. Next slide. We identify opportunity after change occurs. The first is conservation of biodiversity. Increase biological natural resources and environmental awareness. New approach to manage and develop conservation area, and new protocol to enter conservation area, and biodiversity recovery, etc. And the second is a sustainable socio-economic development. Revitalize traditional lifestyle, production system, local knowledge, local wisdom, and maybe local. Increase local product awareness, sustainable local product movement, cooperative, and development, and support local network and cultural heritage of garden. And the third, research and development. New socio-environmental ethic, new product and branding, product of the Basel research, develop green growth, study of resilience of bioculture, and reconcile the complexity of people, flora and fauna relationship, sharpen audio visual public. And next slide. Several challenges after the change. The first is endangered adaptive co-management ecosystem, and then credibility issue of local knowledge, local wisdom, and local genius. And problem, shutdown of local product market, data gathering barrier, especially for illegal activity, marginalized local community, lack of country funding and training, and lack of research and development, transdisciplinary research, international cooperation research, limited transdisciplinary funding opportunity, limited international policy concern for existing health disparities, universal food security, and environmental health. And then spread of misinformation. And the last is business as usual. And the next slide, what should we do? The second is new approach, landscape ecosystem management, like new land use planning, support land use sustainable, identification of ecosystem, identification of holder, and how, where, and by whom. And then support identification of value and potential. Landscape ecosystem value, ecology, economy, ethical, and intrinsic. And potential, positive and negative impact, and possibility adverse impact, and also support integration and synergy conservation and development program, support coordination and cooperation between parties in Basel research landscape ecosystem management. Then zonation system evaluation. First is clear zonation system. This is important. Core area, buffer zone, and transition area. And integration between three zones of boundary research. And then the integration boundary zonation system into the land use planning program, especially buffer and transition area. And what should we do? The third program synergy and cooperation between the partnership, academics, scientists, business, private sector, community, and government and boundary research development. Then establish a new approach for conservation activity, production activity, including the ecosystem services, research and development activities. And what should we do? Number 5 is capacity building. To increase awareness and advocacy, to build greater understanding about how to respond in the changing, how to recover, how to be new normal. Business as usual and new strategy. And then adaptive transformation, erasing ability, respond to change, and new norm, and new protocol, all aspects of life, especially related with boundary development, like sustainable use of biodiversity, production system, post-harvest management, etc. And what should we do? Number 6, developing new communication systems and network. First, revitalization of Indonesian boundary forum, development new communication system, strengthening the boundary forum. And second, establishing transdisciplinary cooperation, development and implementation of joint research project, establishment of sistership between boundary research and several countries, and the third, expanding network at the local, national, regional, and international level, joint workshops and symposia on topic of mutual interest, exchange of science and boundary research management to share knowledge and experience. And what should we do? Number 7, branding, development of boundary product. First, branding of boundary product, not only the logo, but the objective are promotion and introduction of boundary product, optimizing product value, job opportunity, improving living standard, increase public knowledge about the branding and product quality, promotion of business model on an ongoing basis, Indonesian boundary product, value chain innovation, and sustainable management. Branding boundary product that are good can convey a clear message about the benefit of boundary, can confirm the credibility of new boundary concept, can link with more tangible management target, motivating the manager and user of boundary product, and creating excellence that can be trusted by party. And this slide is example branding of boundary product from Lori boundary product, chocolate and cafe. This is and also the exhibition in UNESCO headquarters during the 31st ICC meeting last year, two years ago. Sorry. And then next slide. This is first steps that must be done. The first, immediately build new protocol for all aspects of boundary research development. Need upgrading capacity building. Start to corporate leverage higher and sustainability of budget, need funding schemes, legal aspects, and cooperation with the party, private sector, donor, agency, etc. And then accelerating the process of government regulation for boundary management. legal aspect, for example, and then accelerating the development of branding, improve communication, increase investment, and the last is improve the role of the party and media. Thank you very much for your attention.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Purwanto, for your insightful presentation. If we talk about the sustainable development, we should think about the biosphere itself, like Professor Purwanto said before, because the biosphere contains complex interaction between the biotic, and also the social function of the ecosystem itself. Then Professor Purwanto tell kind of the approach or the strategy how to develop the biosphere reserve itself. Thank you very much once again. For all of the participants who has kind of the comments or the question, you can type in the chat room to Professor Purwanto, or because he is not here, maybe you can also send him email in purwanto.lipi@gmail.com. Once again, purwanto.lipi@gmail.com. So now we will move to our second speaker, Professor Chun Hung Lee from National Donghua University. I think Professor Chun Hung Lee is already here. Good morning, Professor.
Yes.
Okay.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Thank you very much. Before Professor Chun Hung Lee start his presentation, I would like to read a brief curriculum vitae of Professor Chun Hung Lee. Professor Chun Hung Lee is Dean of Center for Sustainable Development, Chairperson in the Department of Natural Resources and Environmental Studies, National Donghua University, Taiwan. Professor Lee holds a PhD in Applied Economics from the National Chung Hsing University in Taiwan. And now he is teaching in Department of Natural Resources and Environmental Studies in National Donghua University. His expertise, especially in environmental economic, integrates the theory of community resilience and adaptive capacity into human-wildlife coexistence, community-based adaptive disaster management, also community-based adaptive waste management, and sustainability and change in Taiwan and across the world, including in Indonesia, Southeast Asia country, in India, Malawi, Tanzania, and Belize. Throughout his career, Professor Lee has held visiting professor position at prestigious institutions such as Arizona State University, Northeast Forestry University, and NCH University. His professional achievements have been recognized with several awards, including the Outstanding Research Award and the Excellent Younger Award from National Donghua University and National Science and Technology Council in Taiwan. Today, Professor Lee will deliver a talk entitled Integrating Local Adaptive Capacity into Sustainable Marine Tourism in an Era of Uncertainty. For Professor Lee, the time is yours.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much that I can have the opportunity to join the conference. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
Yes. Okay.
Do you want to share your presentation by yourself, or?
Yes, I would like to share it by myself.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Can you? Hello guys. Can you see my slide?
Not yet. Yeah. Perfect. Perfect.
Okay. Okay. So yeah. Hello everyone. I'm so happy can share my insight on the topic, especially the topic. I mean, for our conference, really focus on environmental and sustainable development. Rely on my personal expertise. And thank you again that I can share my insight for all of you. So I would like to share my my topic around 20 minutes. I also will control my time because I think everyone will be hungry. Okay, so what I mentioned about the topic on low-cost adaptive capacity into sustainable marine tourism. What I mentioned about this one, especially following our invited speaker, Professor Nadu again, and this topic really important for everyone. Especially, we also talk about the resilience, how people can make an adaptation when they meet the climate change, human rights impact. That we can do something together under this kind of impact. So today, I would like to share my insight on the ecosystem services again, and how we can combine the idea of the nature-based solution and adaptive capacity into the topic, and also focus on this one on adaptive capacity and its application. So I think everyone still, sorry, sorry. Can you see my slide?
Yes, we can see your slide. But
yes, please,
I think it is freeze.
It is okay. Okay. So so after the conclusion on COP28 in Dubai, the researcher and the scholar, even the public around the world, they also mention about the two ideas on so-called COP28. So the first one might be the mitigation, and the second one might be adaptation, funded by Ministry of Biodiversity for Human Well-being. Especially based on this one, we also have to focus on the idea on climate action. So after the conclusion from COP28 in Dubai last year, so the scholars around the world have to focus on ministering the function on the ecosystem services, such as the supporting, provisioning, regulating, culture, and at all. So if we would like to focus on sustainable marine tourism, we have to focus on conservation, preserving the marine ecosystem services for that one, especially how we can do something for the environment and sustainable development, rely on the human well-being. So we really mention about the importance on environmental sustainability. Already on the importance for the human society, focus on capacity building, focus on the natural resources development, and also focus on resilience of the ecosystem services and biodiversity. So my philosophy, just following this kind of idea and foundation before, we have to monitoring the ecosystem services from the beginning. For example, a provisioning function not only on materials, also rely on fresh water for the human society, the medical resources, and all. However, how we can reduce the impact on the climate change still have to focus on the monitoring the carbon neutral issues. So after this one, maintaining the biodiversity, the habitat for the species, even though the human well-being still might be the first priority for all of us. And then we can receive one more feedback on the cultural function for the natural environment, the natural resources for the human well-being. So my major topic and expertise really focus on environmental economics. So I have the methodology can evaluate the value or so-called monetary value based on any kind of project, but still have to rely on the evidence, so-called nature-based evidence for the natural scientists first. After that, we can design the evaluation framework and also can conduct the monetary theory to evaluate the economic evaluation based on the ecosystem services. After that, we can do it together can provide one more evidence for the policymaker, can do something again, and can provide the suitable decision making and the evidence for the decision makers. So this is an example from my past research, and I can provide one more on my Google link for all of you after the meeting. So for example, if we would focus on the reef ecosystem services, the first one might be the coral reef and the coverage first. It's because of the coral reef generate the highest ecosystem services and the function in the marine ecosystem. So this evidence, we still have to focus on this one. And the second one might be the biodiversity. Because the biodiversity not only focus on the fishery biodiversity, also the other marine mammal or the other species around the world. But after this one, we still face a lot of challenge on the carrying capacity issues. For example, I also have one more research in Indonesia, in Bali or in Komodo Island. So we totally realized it is important have to set up the carrying capacity before we do something. For example, we have to set the marine protect area, just like this one. We have to do something for the water quality to reduce any kind of pollution from massive tourism. And we still have to control the number of the tourists. So if we can do something, we can do the real action based on the current situation, just like this one. But if we were to reduce the reef impact, we still can focus on controlling the number of divers, the tourists, to think about the experience area can do a suitable management before we do the sustainable marine tourism. Based on this kind of example, we can combine the two theory. The first one is adaptive capacity. Mentioned our invited speaker talked about before. So the adaptive capacity, to me, really rely on ability of the system, institution, human, and other organisms to adjust to potential damage, take advantages of opportunities to do something and to reduce the vulnerability of the ecosystem services in the future based on humans' action plan. So after this one, the human society can do something to adapt to involve in response to disturbance, ensuring resilience and continuous functions. So totally, there are five dimensions on the adaptive capacity. The first one is the asset. The second one is the flexibility. Next is the social organization, learning, and the agency. So what is their asset? Not only on the equipment, the financial support, also with the technological support and the services that people have access to. What is the flexibility? So we cannot solve all this kind of impact just only by one philosophy. So start from the nature-based solution. We belong to the social scientist. We still can switch any kind of adaptation strategy and do this kind of action plan with each other. And by the other way, if we can finish the first part and the second dimension, we still have to do one more dialogue with the local expertise, especially the social organization layer, the NGOs there. So the importance on the social organization might be focused on organized to enable cooperation, collective action, and knowledge sharing. After that, if we can do the integrated project, invited the nature and social scientists join together, thus we can learning from each other, can share all this kind of expertise and the evidence for the local communities and all the policymakers. Thus we can do something to focus on environmental change stewardship, the idea on them. So start from the nature-based solution. We still can make a connection from the ecosystem services and the social economic system from each other to provide the real strategy based on nature-based solution, nature-based evidence with each other. So all this kind of idea still can do something together. So I also have my my research team in Vietnam. So we do the human-elephant conflict in Vietnam, the Dong Nai protect area there. So we go there to talk with each other based on what is going on right now about the human-wildlife conflict. How you can provide your own idea to reduce the impact the human-wildlife conflict, and you still can provide your expertise and experience for the action plan. So we just write down their own idea, synthesis the main indicators on this one. So after that, we focus on capacity building to conduct one more social network layer based on their own idea. Not only on the NGOs layer, also the mayor of the county there. So if we can do it together, that we can share our insight with each other, no matter in Vietnam, Taiwan, Indonesia, and the other Asia country. So we still can work with each other. So after this one, we consult with the NGOs, we consult with the nature scientists and the educators, so that we can build up all this kind of idea in one to focus on adaptive sustainable marine tourism with each other. Start from cooperation, learning, agency, flexibility, and the asset. And and also identify what is going on right now. So what I mean is about the assets, we have to identify the real impact of right now. So I think in Bali Island, also a very famous tourist destination around the world, there are marine protected areas there, but lack of infrastructure related to the rescue, rehabilitation, and monitoring of the whale sharks and the other marine biodiversity. So if we can ask their own opinion to identify the solutions and the action plan based on the local expertise, just like endangered species rehabilitation center. If we can build up this center, if we can do something about the endangered species research, all this kind of idea we can combine in one to design one more strategy based on their own needs to identify the real impact from them together, and also can identify the potential solution with each other. Okay, so owing to the time limitation, I will not talk the detailed information, but the philosophy is we have to think about the theory of the adaptive capacity first, and find a case study in Indonesia, Bali, Taiwan, Vietnam, and the case study, and also have to identify what is going on right now, start from the asset to the agency. It's because of we, the researcher, we did not live there, right? So we have to consult the local expertise, also with the evidence around the world. After that, we can synthesize the real impact, the status quo right now. And we still can synthesize one more solution based on their own expertise, not by ours. Okay, so the solution start from adaptive capacity approach, still focus on community-based conservation, community-based marine tourism. All this kind of ideas have to focus on dynamic and flexible strategy together. So if we can do something, we can focus on the application on adaptive capacity into sustainable marine tourism again. So after that, it's really work, and we can work together, can apply the methodology such as the importance performance analysis. This methodology also can apply it into adaptive sustainable marine tourism. And the idea again, hello guys, maybe you can following on the figure of the right hand side here. So we can identify importance and performance with high, so higher importance and also higher performance, which means it's rely on the quadrant A, adaptation opportunities. But if our respondents, the local expertise, they think about the indicators with the higher importance but lower performance, so which means it will remain on the stress of the indicators. So after that, we have to identify the real action plan, just like this one. So this methodology can combine the qualitative data and quantitative data in one to synthesize all this kind of idea, and the action plan to combine qualitative data and quantitative data in one. So in the future, I think it's really worth to do this kind of work. Start from the whale shark conservation, start from adaptive sustainable marine tourism to think about that. So My PhD student named Coco received his PhD degree in NDHU, and now he go back to teach to recover his teaching job in Pertamina University in Jakarta. So the Pertamina Foundation, they found us to do the endangered species conservation and the action plan with each other. So start from this one, we will do the adaptive whale shark conservation program first. And after that, the audience, the researchers in Indonesia or Vietnam here, or I think we still can do something together, start from this framework. It's really welcome that we can do something from now in the future. So after that, we can synthesize the impact and the potential solutions based on this kind of framework, and identify the main indicators, start from the semi-structural questionnaire, and also identify the indicators with the adaptive capacity again. So after that, we can evaluate the feedback from the local resident, the tourist, from any kind of case study. After that, we can conduct the suitable strategy on adaptive sustainable marine tourism under adaptive capacity approach. So in the future, I think we still can focus on preserve the endangered species first, and also do something start from the framework of the adaptive capacity, and also identify the real impact from local stakeholders, the local NGO and local government together to ensures that conservation strategy can remain relevant and be effective in the face of changing environment changes. So after that, about the sustainable marine tourism, we still have to focus on the clean, without or the lower impact of the marine ecosystem services. Just like Indonesia also generates the highest marine biodiversity around the South Asia. So Bali or Komodo Islands, also with its own famous natural beauty and landscape, even with the sustainable marine tourism. So based on this kind of idea, we still can think about the conservation strategy with adaptive capacity framework again. So I will show my own insight maybe later through the link. So after that, we can design the suitable scenario based on sustainable marine tourism. First one is promoting marine ecosystem, marine ecotourism, and to identify the suitable infrastructure based on local needs, based on tourist needs. Also have to integrate the idea of the community involvement, empowerment again, and identify the local culture and wisdom as a base for the ecotourism management. Also have to integrate the resources on the natural resources and environmental education. So after that, we can conduct a program on community-based marine ecotourism in future. So the framework we draw for here is still rely on local preferences toward sustainable marine tourism in Bali Island before. So until now, I think we still can think about some potential solutions, start from improving infrastructure, promotion of the ecosystem, ecotourism, with maintaining carrying capacity, all this kind of idea that we can talk about it based on locals' expertise and experience before. So in the future, the case study from Bali, that we can work together based on locals' needs with a sustainable marine tourism based on adaptive capacity framework. Thank you for your listening. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Lee, for your insightful presentation for us. It is very interesting because you shared about the sustainable marine tourism, and Indonesia is the second longest. We have second longest coastal line, I think, and we are the mega diversity country, and it is our job to how to make the marine ecosystem more sustainable, and also in the other side how to make this ecosystem produce more for the economic aspect for our local people, something like that. Thank you very much. So now we go to the Q&A session. Does anyone has a question or comments, especially to the Professor Lee? Does anyone in the chat box? No? Okay, Professor Lee, I am wondering about your framework that you said before, that you propose some framework, something like that. And my question is, how is the framework proposed to balance between the potential conflicting goals of the conservation and the tourism itself? Did you get what it's my question?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you for your question. This is a really good comment and suggestion for the sustainable marine tourism. Okay, so in my philosophy and experience before, we have to sit together with the nature scientist and the social scientist. So for example, if I would like to do the work in Bali, so I have to go there to talk with the nature scientist, can get the nature-based evidence for the whale shark and the conservation impact issues. Especially, I am the social scientist, but I have to synthesize one more evidence from the nature scientist, especially sustainable marine tourism also rely on rich for marine ecosystem services there, right? Also, they also famous on whale shark conservation and the tourism. So I would like to know the real impact about the whale shark, about the coral reef, about all this kind of impact on them first. And after that, I can catch the idea from them before. After that, I have to synthesize all this kind of evidence to talk about with the NGOs, the local communities, the local government together to identify the real impact right now. And we have to sit down and talk about the action plan with the suitable strategy to deal with all this kind of impact and think about the potential solution with each other. So to me, conservation issues and economic development issues that we can think about it in this kind of framework, on adaptive capacity framework. So after that, we can provide one more idea on adaptive capacity framework with the environmental economic evaluation and the local expertise conservation and the framework again. Yeah. this is my own experience before. I hope that can answer your own question. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Professor Lee. I still have a question, if you don't mind.
Oh, yeah, yes, please.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that yeah, for it is related to the regulation or the policy makers, and what strategies based on your experience and maybe in your research, what strategies will be implemented to ensure that local communities are actively involved in the decision-making processes, especially in the development of the policies and also conservation practices. How to make the local communities involved in the regulation itself.
Yes, this is a very good question. Yeah, especially in our own experience before, especially in Taiwan, even though in Vietnam. First, we have to identify the real impact, not only on the climate change, also rely on human rights impact first. So once we synthesize all these kinds of evidence based on published papers, based on on-site survey about the natural scientists, that we can synthesize the real evidence for the local community, also with the policymaker before. So once we can provide all this kind of evidence to the decision maker, or even though with the local communities, that we can sit down to start to talk about the real impact and the potential solution with each other. So, okay, so to me, conduct a social network between local communities, fisheries, even though the tourism sectors in one platform, that might be the important idea for all of us, because we are the scholar, we teach and do the research. However, we have to leave the university, go outside to conduct the platform with each other. So have to listen one more voice from local communities. Relatively, the local authorities, they have one more power than the other people and the stakeholders. However, it's lack of one more evidence, lack of one more experience can synthesize all this kind of information, evidence based on sustainable marine tourism. Again, so but we are the scholars. Some of them, they trust us, but we have to provide the real data and the evidence for them to gather. So start from illegal fishing, start from overfishing, start from human wildlife conflict, all these kind of issues. We have to provide one more evidence for them and sit together to identify some potential solution with each other. So I think illegal fishing, not only the impact in Indonesia, even though Taiwan also have some case study before, but we really reduce this kind of impact based on one more dialogue, based on design or set one more action plan and a law together. So I think if I have one more opportunity, that I would like to provide my own insight, also this kind of dialogue with each other. So such as Sekar from the UNS, he also mentioned about this one. Daniel also mentioned about this one. I think during the time limitation, I can not talk about one more, but I think it's a really good dialogue between you and me and the audience. Okay, so if you have one more idea, also would like to think about the research proposal and the grant that we can do it together from now in the future. I also have the PhD student, they finish their degree, come back in Jakarta, named Coco, come back to your Jakarta, named Agun, also Imelda. That we still can work something together. Yeah, really. Thank you for your question and your patience for my time. Yeah, thank you.
Once again, thank you. I think you have answered the question from Sekar and also Mr. Daniel. Any feedback from Mbak Sekar and also Mr. Daniel? Any feedback? No. We are very happy to hear that you have some your student comes from Indonesia, and also you have some research in Indonesia regarding the ecosystem service. And maybe it's just information, because the doctoral program of environmental science also has kind of the project with our national park named the Baluran and also Bromo regarding the ecosystem service in the national park. Maybe in the future we can collaborate how to solve the environmental problem or evaluate the ecosystem in the national park.
Yes, sure.
Thank you so much.
It's my honor that we can do something with each other. Especially, I also found one more opportunity that the audience and the scholar can do the research with the Asia Development Bank, yeah, in Philippines, yeah. They also released one.
Okay, any question? The last question from the participants? Okay, enough. Thank you very much once again, Professor Lee and also Professor Purwanto for engaging and insightful dialogue. And we had today, your contribution have truly enriched our understanding. As a token of our appreciation, the committee would like to present each of you with a symbolic certificate. This is only a small gesture to express our gratitude for your valuable contribution, participation, and to the knowledge that you have shared to us today. The first, okay, just directly to Professor Chun Hung Lee. This is the symbolic certificate to you, and we can send it via email. And also for Professor Purwanto. Okay. Once again, thank you very much, and we look forward to continuing these important discussions in the future with all of you and also the participants. As we conclude the 5th ICESD 2024, I would like to express my deepest gratitude to all of the distinguished speakers and also all of the participants. Today's discussion have been truly enlightening and inspiring for us. We have explored critical issues, shared innovative solutions, and fostered a deeper understanding of the importance of the resilience and sustainability of our ecological efforts. It is through such collaborative efforts that we can hope to make the lasting impact to our planet. Thank you for your active participation and thoughtful contributions throughout this international conference. Let's carry forward the knowledge and ideas exchanged today as we continue to work towards a sustainable and resilient future. I will now hand the session back to our MC, Jessica. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Channel, for leading the second plenary session so well, and we've learned so much throughout the session. And now, dear esteemed ladies and gentlemen, we have now reached the end of the plenary sessions. And on behalf of the organizing committee of the 5th ICESD 2024, we would like to express our deepest gratitude for each of our respectable plenary speakers. And this conference marks a significant milestone in the global dialogue regarding the ecological sustainability and conservation. So hopefully through the abundant information that has been delivered by each of the plenary speakers, we might be able to learn new things, new ways where we can be participatingly active, hand in hand, to create a sustainable environment. So we would like to continue, and I will have some for all the present to continue in the parallel sessions. So we will go back and start the parallel session at 1 p.m. And from this time to 1 p.m., everybody can have a break time. And please stay in the Zoom because the committee will open the breakout rooms soon. And the link will be the same link as this one. So don't forget to check out the breakout rooms distribution list on your book of abstract. So to make sure that you know which room you have to be entering for the parallel session later. So thank you all for the attendance today. See you again next year at the 6th ICESD. Good afternoon and have a good day. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.